Hello everybody, welcome to Flooring Models live night show. So if you give us a couple of minutes, we'll just make sure we're all running okay. First one is I've got that muted, so we need to check. Well, I can see the green bar moving, so it should be all right.
Hopefully.
Dee, dee, dee. Good.
That's why you hear your voice back again.
Back in time.
Again.
Yeah, if it's working. Hello everybody, welcome to Flooring Models live. Yep, well, at least we can mute that now. That stops that. Right, okie dokie. So, couple of changes. You can't see yourself now.
Oh no.
No, see, because of the new camera.
Because the camera's disappeared.
That's it. The camera's disappeared
Oh
now.
yeah.
So now we're all over the place. So it's a bit odd. You have to talk to a stick on a pole.
I have to talk to a stick.
Evening, everybody. Usual thing. Just myself and Sid tonight again. Pre-Telford show, I suppose.
Indeed. Definitely.
You know, usual thing. Post up all your questions. We'll get through as many as we can in the next couple of hours.
Yep.
And anything else. So, what have you been up to today, mate? Or this week, even?
I've sorted out me road.
Right.
Where I hadn't put enough glue down and the sand didn't stick, I've turned it into potholes.
Perfect. As you would get.
I would have thought so. Now I used a bit of your Indian ink to drop it in to change the colour of it.
Yeah.
Then I also put some sort of gloss, filler into it to make it look like there's puddles of mud in it.
Yeah.
And then along with that, I also took a big jump and put my water in my ripper. One side seems to be drying a bit faster than the other, hence the reason I would have bought it here tonight.
The one side might leak.
Yeah, mine. It seems to be all solid.
Yeah.
But it just seems that one side's more cloudier than the other. I'm hoping it might be just purely because, like you said before, it might be just different dry types. It might be slightly thicker.
Yeah.
And then once I've done that, it'd be putting a thin skim on top, stick my ducks in, and then hopefully I should be almost there.
Cool. So not quite ready for Telford then?
No, I don't think it's going to be there. I don't want to rush it, so I don't want to spoil it.
So you have to bring your column.
So yeah, I'll bring 5 trucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to rush trying to get it finished for Telford and then ruin it. So I've got.
And obviously you were in makeup a long time for the Halloween bash on last Friday.
I was indeed. Yeah, it took me a good half hour, 40 minutes to do that.
Brilliant job. Turned up as a werewolf.
My face regretted it afterwards though.
Getting that lot off. Strange looks driving along.
Yeah, no, it would have been absolutely hilarious being pulled over, but then being that John was wearing what he was wearing, I think it would be even more hilarious in being pulled over.
Yeah, and Dave and Trace came down looking like that as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and they did it in daylight. Don't forget, they were down here by around about 3:30, and they came down wearing that.
They would have been actually in daylight time.
Because they were saying when they were stopped at lights and that, people looking across like, oh look, you know, like, no, it's not Halloween. I always drive like this.
Should have seen with the gloves on.
Yeah, that's it. Here he has.
Yeah, so that's it pretty much. It's obviously your barbecue party and doing a bit more. I've got a couple of decals on my M113s. I started playing with them and putting the decals on. And obviously playing with the Marcus Soul set.
We're getting down.
Waiting for them to take down. But for some reason, I don't know if I've put too much clear on it. But every time I'm running over with the cotton bud, it moves. So I think it's obviously too slippery or too wet underneath or something I'm doing. So yeah, it was a bit of a pain trying to get them to stay still. So I wanted to hold them in place and move it, but then not leave my thumbprint in the same in the decal at the same time. So and they're quite thin decals because they're extra decals. So
very
aftermarket decals that I bought. So hey ho, I've now got Snoopy on the side of one of them.
Very nice. Well, we look forward to seeing that one.
Yeah.
We'll bring him along next week.
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, yeah. I've got Snoopy on one, and the Ball of Love or something along those lines on the other. And here's the boss.
There's the boss. Sorry, would
boss.
you like it back? We finished
I'm
it.
not going to get it. Can you pass it to me?
Here you go, boss. You're off camera anyway.
You're off camera.
So yeah, that's what I'm up to at the moment.
Very good.
I did consider starting a new kit, but I thought to myself I've got quite a few on the go at the moment, so it'd be just nice to
clear a bit out first.
I did as I text you, I was I'm done the base coat for the Eagle, and I've done the pre-shading, and then obviously I went to just find the light ghost grey to do all the painting and all that for it. Couldn't find out what paint it was, hence the reason I texted you to see whether you know offhand what number it was. And I eventually obviously followed your link onto your build, and it was the extra colour one, so again, that might be
they're the only people who currently do the modern Eagle grey, but I have a sneaky suspicion AK might be doing it under their new colour range, which is the stuff that's Vallejo. So they're doing all those types of colours. So I've got a feeling if they do it, it'd be quite handy because I hate using the extra stuff. It's all right for that first new bottle. Open the bottle, stuff's brilliant. Come to use it 6 months down the line, it's horrible. It's like short white.
So I might treat myself to those 2 pots. That'd be the only 2 I get for extra acrylics. That's the only one to need. But well, there's no point me trying to mix and match with my colour site. So
no, that's it. It could be anything. So
exactly.
That's it. Who knows? You can't go wrong. That's it. Can't go wrong. That's the point.
So your turn.
Right, me.
I see you've been very busy.
Yes, very busy. As I say, obviously with the bash and the news show and everything on Friday, and then the weekend we had people down here as well, and then the new camera. So
indeed,
the new one. Very nice, very heavy compared to the old one. Learning how to use it, because as I say, they're all the same.
Yeah,
they're all Panasonic, so they all roughly work the same. They're 800, 900 series, but this thing being Canon, completely alien. And it's got a menu system that goes on forevermore. And everything else. So it's just a case of setting it up, playing with it, watching lots of YouTube videos, if I'm honest, and you know, various things online for the right settings. Because obviously, when you do anything, they'll tell you how to use it for outdoors, panning. Nobody says, well, if you're in a studio, you want to set it up like this. So a lot of it's been a lot of trial and error, trying to work it out, trying to get the audio levels right and everything else like that. I'm pretty much there now. Apart from a small cock-up, I've got no audio off of it for 3 parts of the new build.
Ouch.
So we're going to be relying on the overheads to hopefully get us out of that. I now know what it was, but a lot of that is me. I should have probably learned how to use it a little bit better.
Yeah, but it's boys and the toys.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's like reading a manual. Have you seen it?
Just get out and play with it.
Yeah, but no, I must admit, from a point of view of, apart from being a bit pink the other day, it was certainly a nice, clear, sharp image.
It was,
to the
I
other
watched it this morning, so and so I've noticed a bit of a tinge in it, but colour-wise,
yeah, that's because when it locked off, I think it locked off the light balance on this.
Yeah,
because I didn't know how to do it. So it just does it directly in front, and it points actually around about here. So I think that's why everything had a pink hue, and it didn't know that I was just casual wear. I was in my nice pink polo top. And consequently, that's what went wrong. But it was mainly for image and overall clarity, rather than that. But I think, apart from the audio of parts, well, it's not parts, but my parts, as I call them, parts 2 through 7, there's no audio, which I still don't actually know 100% why. It's just that it's get up there, have a look at it, and it's like there's just no sound. But luckily now with those 3, you know, as in my 2 right shoulders, slightly wrong for describing that, on my right side and my other right side, depending how you're looking at it. You know, if I'm facing that way, your right shoulder watching it, you know, that's why it all goes wrong. So yeah, that was the point of that one. But hopefully the idea of having the rig, what you guys can't see is I've got one here now, one here, so you've still got a dodgy shoulder. Okay, and the one in the middle, the overall one in the middle works really, really well from my point of view. But certainly the ones on the side, they're designed to catch when I'm in the way. That's the whole point to it. So hopefully we have no blind spots. And as I say, during that one, because it's such a clear image, I should be able to zoom right in, so we can have another one coming in this way. Probably won't use it because obviously it's the blind side, because I'm doing everything like this. And that counts. But I experimented with it. I tried them in different areas. I had this one over there shooting down, but it doesn't get much because obviously it's the blind side, so you need to have your cameras behind you or right over your head. But it's just that thing of leaning forward. You bit of wood here, like you can't go forward any further. That's what you need, you know.
I thought that was one of those new technology where you got a laser light.
Yeah, that's right.
Every time you
break it, you get electrocuted.
Yeah.
Or
it lets the sound off.
Yeah. Then it'll do all over it. Sorry. Sorry. You know, whatever. So yeah, that was a case of playing with that one. I've been doing the main where's the box lid? What done with the lid? Around some, oh, so it's in here. Started on this one. So we're working on this one at the moment. So far, we've got the actual chassis done with the exhausts and the drive and everything else in there, and the fuel tanks. Very nice kit.
Good.
I have to say, my first large-scale vehicle in must be 10 years, I suppose, and it's been a joy.
I must admit, at the same time that you got that, I was looking at it as well. So now that you, I'm very closely going to be watching what you're doing with that one. Because it definitely looks a really nice. So I was about to watch it. Look on.
Yeah, it's been there for so many years. Now it's made it off of the shelf onto the dip end.
Yeah, no, it'd be really nice to follow it through.
Yeah, I must admit, from a build point of view, having just come off the back of doing the tank,
yeah,
it's on a par with it, as in it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
You just have to watch some of the instructions. They're a bit, it goes in here and you're sort of, well, where's that and how do you get to that? But generally they're very nice and clear, very concise, and everything else. And as I say, I was practicing with a few little techniques that we spoke about before we came on air about doing the stipply, that type of sort of, you know, rhino paint type of look for the underside and everything else by wanging up your air pressure to the maximum 40 psi. Neat gloss paint, black gloss paint, and putting it on so it stipples and it has a hard job going out. And actually, I'm really happy with how it came out. Only a little bit too shiny, but seeing that I'm doing it supposedly like it's just from the showroom.
Yeah,
I'm not really weathering this, and that's what I talk about during the
yeah,
pre build to it when I do the quick blur to the camera. As I say, I want this one to be absolutely mint. So no washes, no pigments, no.
Was there much cleanup needed on the chassis parts?
No, not at all. Chassis parts really are pretty clear. I've got one, I've just noticed it here, which I'll get rid of that. Nobody saw that. So one tiny little bit of flash search I didn't notice, but no, the chassis is absolutely clear. There is little tiny bits of flash, and like on the engine block when that goes together, but it's tiny little bits, and it comes off so easy. So you couldn't really complain about it. It's just one of those things. I think it's just a little bit in the manufacturing, but all the parts as well on the sprues, they're very nicely spaced out, clear, concise. And to be honest, I know there's a few more in the box wherever the other box is, still to go on, but there isn't much to it. And that's what I was saying. If you were one of these guys, you know, obviously I'm not, but you're intent of doing flocking, and stuff like that, then that's it, and all stuff like that, you could do that very easily. It's really nice to do it. The engine, if it's anything like my thing, you can't see it anyway because it's under a plastic,
they put a plastic cover
over the entire thing. It just says Jeep on the top.
Yeah,
you know, I know there's a 6-cylinder engine underneath it, but I've never seen it. I'm sure the mechanics must do it when they change the wheel or something. But yeah, I've never seen it, not like that. So yeah, that's the point. It's this one, like for instance, I'm going to do this using the old buffables, but using a brush instead of rubbing it, which is my new way of doing things.
Okay.
Literally, I did it on one of the other builds, but yeah, you just literally did it on the hind. By rubbing it, you get a better effect than actually using your finger to get in there. I think what it does, it takes the dusty stuff that comes off and pushes it around, so it gives you a nicer finish. But as I say, I was watching one of the guys on the site, and he's done that beautiful new metal finish on the Thunderbolt, that big, I think it's 24 scale, 30-second Thunderbolt. Okay. And there's, like he says in there, a soft brush is a must, because that's how it works. And that's the one thing I haven't got much of. I've got one good soft brush, and this is actually my one that I use for doing it. But that's the secret. If you're using buffables and you're going to use this, then you want to use a good soft brush to really push the pigments around and to lay them down. So that's what I'm going to do to the engine, just to make it a little bit nicer. Transmission as well, and then obviously just be a case of popping them in, getting it together, and then I presume, as you have a look, so I haven't got that far. Yeah, then it's just into the interior. Yep. All your hoses going in, the glass work, which obviously we're going to be doing it a bit like the real car. So we're going to paint this literally like that. Then it'll obviously, hopefully, without, because that's the trouble about that, isn't it? You touch it and it's like, and everything else. So I might have a look around Telford to see if something else is available. But, you know, hopefully it would be a lot of fun. But I really am enjoying it. And I suppose because it's something different as well. You can tell I'm out of my comfort zone, so I'm a bit quiet on camera. Because I'm like, where the friggin' hell does one of these go? I know where a wing goes, I know, you know, but, you know, it's like on here, it's a case of, okay, so the drive shaft goes through here, and then it's up through here, and
what's the second part on your tank? And you put, obviously, all your all the bits on for one side,
Mhm.
and you're trying to align up
That's right,
the second
yeah.
bit to it.
And it wasn't going
And
to
I was
happen.
looking there thinking, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to go out either way. I'm sure
Yeah,
he's going to
that's
pick in a
it.
minute.
Yeah, and it was.
And then eventually
Yeah.
you turned it around and it went.
That's it.
And it's like, God, it's just not me.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, as you say, you build an aircraft and you do them, and it's like, okay, I know where all the bits go.
Yeah.
But when I'm dealing with armor and vehicles, from a build point of view, I'm hopeless. I'm like, what's that thing do then?
I'm
You
sure
know?
it's supposed to go in here
Yeah,
somewhere.
it goes in, you know, put the wheels on the inside. That's the trouble I found with that one. But yeah, but in some ways it's nice because it's out of my comfort zone and it's something where I can actually sort of learn on the fly, and hopefully I share it with you guys as well. So apologies if they seem a bit off the build compared to normal, because I say it's well out of my zone for doing it, but I am enjoying doing them and trying techniques that I thought would work. Like doing that, something I thought about for a while, to give that sort of, you know, stippled, you say that anti whatever it is stuff they put underneath these things these days. And I thought if you were surely to spray gloss high pressure, you'll get it. And the reason I know it is because that's how I do my stipply effect on bombs.
Right.
You know, if you're doing a bomb and you want that fire retardant stuff they put around them and it looks really rough, then obviously if you use a gloss, high air pressure, because it literally has to flick it out, it builds it up like it. And I've often thought if you wanted to do that sort of rhino cover, you know, for boot linings and undersides and everything else, then that would be a good way of doing it. And now I've tried it, I know it works, so that will be my thing to do from now on with it. But certainly it's learning new techniques, learning where to use them, and different ways to do it, because obviously with this it's all going to be, the outer shell will be painted separately and then you'll bring it together.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously there's no point putting glass in, but it's a bit like the real thing, you know, because normally you put the glass goes in and everything else. So yeah, so I'm looking at it thinking, okay, so when do I put in like the roof lining? I think we'll paint it first, then we'll put the roof lining in. So I think it's going to be a lot of sort of PVA glues to hold in place and various things like that. But certainly, I am enjoying it. It's one of those things. It's just, you know, when you do it to camera, it's a little bit harder because it's a bit like having somebody next to you saying, "Go on then, hurry up," because I'm aware that I'm pausing. So you try and push through it, and that's not how you should do it. So I think I should do a little bit more sort of test fitting.
No, just
God help us. That's where you end up. That's upside down. Boot line is this way round. Yeah, I'm sure it has a cover on it. Oh no, it's a pickup. That's where I went wrong. But no, I am enjoying the main kit.
The trunk turned into a hot tub.
Yeah, that's it. I've got a hot tub in the back. How did that work? The beer cooler. But no, really I'm enjoying it. Something a little bit different, as I say. It's nice not doing weathering for change, because obviously everything I do has something weather. So yeah, I'm doing this one. I'm already thinking, oh, so I said I'd do a motorbike, and I said I was going to do a Formula One car. I might even have a go at a NASCAR, something else like that as well. So now it's, you know, I have the sort of bug for it to do these various different things. So as I said, this is our sort of, well, actually, it's funny, it comes under a quick build. My great scheme, apparently. My great scheme of things. Well, the Tamiya one's a quick build. This is a quick build, so they'll rattle through quite quick. And then, as I say, when we get back from Telford, move on to the other stuff. Push on heavily with the 111, which is sort of ground to halt from getting on with these bits. But really, I'm enjoying it. So if you are thinking about sort of trucks and your Ming stuff and all the rest of it, then I would highly recommend it because it is nice stuff. Go for it.
Now I've got 24 police car to do.
What, British, American?
Oh no, American. Can't find a British
I was
one.
going to say, I don't think anyone does it.
Yeah, no, I've tried getting hold of a British one, couldn't find one.
Rover 2000.
So yeah, no, it's an American one. But I was going to try and put lights in it.
Oh, like Dave did.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Don't know whether I'm going to do it, but I would like to.
I'm amazed nobody's really jumped on the bandwagon and done the LED kits.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. There you go. That's somebody who's got some time.
Indeed, yeah.
Throw yourself into it, because I think they'd sell really well. If somebody was to do like a pre-lit one for aircraft with, you know, perhaps you just have navigation lights that are pre-lit on lengths of wire that you could then cut down and rejoin to the right length. Yeah, I think they do really, really well. Somebody who's got the knowledge with electronics. Yeah, absolutely, certainly to the 30-second stuff. But a lot, I think you can get into a lot of 48 stuff. Because like seed LEDs and stuff like that are just so small, you know, and so bright that it's not like the old ones where they were quite big lumps of glass you have to try and fit in.
What's again on YouTube? It was, I think somebody was building an Audi, and as you know, new Audis now all come with LED lights.
Yeah.
And the word of a lie, they had drilled every single hole for an LED light on a headlights, backlights, everything. and wired them all up and everything.
Dedication.
And I'm talking really small LEDs. And I'm thinking, yeah, God, I wish.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, when it was all done, I mean, when the doors opened,
Mhm.
the lights
The
came
lights in
open.
there,
When
yeah.
the boot opened, the lights came on.
Mhm.
It was awesome.
Very nice.
And I'm thinking, yeah, if only.
Those new LED lights, you've seen the advert for it, and so the idea is they're always on full beam. You've seen those,
No.
and it's got multiple LEDs in the headlight now.
Right.
So we're not talking those ones, angel eyes and all that rubbish. We're talking the full headlight is a bank of LEDs. So the idea is, right, when you're coming around the country lanes and there's a car coming towards you, it automatically senses the light coming at it and turns those LEDs off. So it makes a square of no light going at that car, but the rest of it is brilliant, yeah? Which I was thinking, great idea unless you live around here. Because you're coming home from the pub, yeah, staggering around the corner, holding yourself up on the hedge.
Yeah.
You haven't brought your torch. He comes round and just blinds you because, you know, he can't dip his headlights.
Yeah.
So you're like blinded, and then you can't see anything to fall over the fence, and you're in the field. You know, but what happens if you're like on your push bike? Because around here, you know, lights are an option extra, or it seems like it.
Yeah, same random with us as well. Yeah.
But yeah, many a time you must blind these poor gits as you come along if it doesn't turn off. I'm sure you must be able to override it manually. The idea is that when it sees it, it creates a blank in your headlight beam, so you don't blind the driver coming at you, which I thought was actually a very good idea.
Yeah,
but just imagine being blinded by it all.
I was going to say, how many times do you drive past a car that actually don't get the lights for you anyway?
Well, in mine with my new super headlights, I make sure they do it now because now I've had the upgrade on them. They're brilliant. In fact, we've got a bridge just down the road. It's by the golf course, and it like comes over a hump. Everybody thinks I'm on full beam because on our side, as you're coming from Newton Abbot towards out here, it's quite an incline, and then it drops. So I'm coming along, and everyone's like, "Geez," and I'm like, "I am." I feel like turning your lights off. Cars swerving all over the road. Yeah, I'm like side lights. Like, give me a break. I know they're good these days. That's kind of like, you know, upgraded, but that's the point. They were like last time they were useless. Like last year, I was going around. I like to have the fog lights on the bottoms to see the road because they were absolutely rubbish. Now I've got the new ones in there. They're a bit other way now. I'm blinding people.
That's right. You can see where you go.
I can, it's brilliant. I can see for miles in front of full beam there. Very good indeed. Right, we do have to mention, and a big thank you, because we've been sent Haribo.
Oh, have we?
We have. Actually, it wasn't sent, they were down here today, but this is from John and Lynn.
Thank you,
John and Lynn, and John's watching tonight.
Is he?
Yeah, because Lynn's off at, he would have been here, but unfortunately Lynn's had to go to a school meeting. So so anyway, they left us Haribo Minions. Kids and grown ups love it so. It says on the front.
That's right, we're big kids anyway.
Yeah, so we're all good.
Indeed. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John and Lynn, for that. Lovely job, right? Right, go on then. Questions?
Okay. Cool. So we've got Alan.
No artificial colours, but colours. Both strong.
Post 2. Hi, Phil and Sid. Will you both be in the pink tonight?
No,
back in your pink top.
Perhaps I should start it. Nice little pink hue.
Men do wear pink.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to tonight with more new equipment. Many thanks to Sir Bob Bailey for his time and efforts on the photo bucket update. Hope to see you both at Telford. Yes, I shall be there.
Yes, we're both at Telford. Yeah, new camera. Don't forget, we have a webcam, which apparently is blowing up a bit tonight. For some reason, it's not saying HD. Don't know why. But technically, this one is just for purely recording. I can stream because this particular little bad boy has what we call a VNC, which is an HDISD SDI port. Which what that means is it can live stream.
Fair enough. I'll take your word for that.
In HD. Who knew? But the idea is later on I can hook it up to things. Certainly, I've seen some, I haven't even read the manual yet.
What's one of those?
Yeah.
Ian Smith. Good afternoon, evening, lads. Phil and Sid should put out a warning about how active Haribos are. Oh, addictive. Sorry.
Oh, addictive. Yeah, that's it. Once you stop, it's like Pringles. They're just bad for you.
Eric. Good evening, Phil and Sid. Unfortunately, I'm not able to come to Telford this year. Some friends of mine are going. I've asked one of them to take the floor washes and the sander pack. can you tell me how we can collect the items from your stand? Next year I'll be there for sure and hope to meet you all. Have a great show tonight. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, I'm finally building an aircraft. It's the 1/32nd scale Tamiya Mustang, and it's
Lovely
a real
kit.
treat.
Beautiful cat.
Have fun at Telford.
Yeah, I do have to mention, because I didn't know this until about 3 hours ago, but if you're thinking about buying and reserving stuff for Telford, wait till you're at Telford.
Okay.
And this is all a bit cryptic, but I've been told I'm not allowed to tell anyone. But well, I'll tell you. Just don't tell anybody else.
Right.
Because they're doing the full wash set and the sander set for 30 quid. It's far too cheap as far as I'm concerned.
It does seem
because that's better than
good.
members price.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you want to hold on, but if you want to pre-order, you can order if you want via PayPal, and then they'll knock. I don't know even know how that works.
So does that mean that you get it for that price if you're at Telford?
Yes, it's only for Telford.
So
They are doing a special
if
you're at Telford.
Right.
You can get it, which is
And is that for
actually
members only?
£2 cheaper. It's everyone. It's £2 cheaper than even the members price, but it's only for Telford. Which I didn't even know until a couple of hours ago, which is what I consider too cheap because it's actually £2 cheaper than members price. So if you are going to Telford, definitely go and see them. Cash only, apparently. See them in the car park. White transit. That explains why we lost a box of stock.
With the rusty bits on the door.
Yeah, the rusty bits all on the door. Yeah. I would say I ain't got a tax disc, we wouldn't have one now anyway.
No, you don't.
Yes. So I'm also just on that subject. From my point of view, because obviously, as I say, that side isn't anything to do with me anymore. We're doing badges and sticker sets, posters and calendars for members, free.
Okay.
So all you got to do is ask me or one of the guys nicely. Let us know your name. We can see if you're on the list. And then you will get the limited edition Flory Models black badge, the full sticker set, the calendar, and the poster.
Okay.
Which is very nice. So stick on your whatever you want to stick on.
Stick on.
And all the rest of it, you got your poster, everything. I am trying to get, and don't hold me to this, but I'm trying to get the year planner put onto a poster, or not a full poster, but like an A4 sheet.
Yeah.
I've had a word with my nice friend who's a printer. And well, he hasn't quite got back to me yet, but he said he couldn't do it until next week. But he did say if he could, he'd get them done. So it just depends if he has them done in time. But the idea is it'll be an A4 one you can keep on your bench, and it'll have, instead of like having the calendar like that one's got, as you can see, it's actually got the year planner for the group builds and SIGs on it, so you can look at it at a glance and all the rest of it.
Awesome, that'd be good.
So yes, so there you go.
Splendid. Russell Wood. Hi, Russell.
Russell.
Hi both, hope you're well. Great work on the tank fill. I've been inspired and have taken my first steps towards the dark side and have started a Tamiya Challenger 1 Mark III. Yay me.
I tell you what, all those Tamiya 135 stuff, absolutely cracking kits, isn't it? And you think they're probably the same age as me? Got to be 40 years old now, some of those.
Really, you know?
Gone past 40 now. I'm mid-40s, I think, so I'm getting here now.
Looking forward to tonight's show and also catching up over a few colas on Friday. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, we'll be there. Still goes, still the same battery. It's been miles now. I didn't go to a weekend showing people to say we have people over here, and it's still going. It went ahead to the patio. Yeah, I forgot about it. I don't know when it got to the end, but it started bouncing. Oops. Yeah, I was showing him. It's going down the patio, and then suddenly it was like, oh, whoops.
Oh dear. Neil, post 6. Hi guys, evening going. Hope everything going well. I hope. Got some pictures for this one. Encouraged by your answers on weathering last week, I had a go at building an Airfix Seafire. Any hints, tips, and suggestions on improving the below would be really useful. That's post 6.
Well, you want to show
page? Yeah, page 1.
Page 1, post
Post
6. Right, okie dokie. If I just bring the world's attention to this, I'll remember how. I practice all this. Okay, and there we go. Yeah, it looks, I don't know, it looks like it's got a little bit stuck on some of the weathering. But apart from that, it depends really on how far you want to go with your weathering and how far you don't, isn't it? I imagine C5's probably got pretty mucky in there because they are chucking out a load of rubbish out of their engines and all the rest of it. The only thing I would say, literally, for going through that one, is if you haven't said what weathering wash have you used, I don't know if it's ours. If you've used ours, you can try it over a satin coat. If you do it over a satin coat, certainly up in this areas around here, or around the decals, things like that, it sort of all mutes it in one, rather than you get some clear areas over the decal and dirty on others. It sort of gives you a level playing field when you're using gloss, because obviously the decals are quite glossy anyway. But generally, you have to say it's very nice. Got no problem with that at all. Underside Spitfires, I imagine this bit down here from the oil cooler and everything must be a mess anyway.
Yeah, I was just saying, I thought they'd get quite dirty.
Quite dirty all down there. So yeah, no, I would say, as I say, I don't know which one you're using. If you were using ours when you did it, I would say try it over a satin finish, and it will just give you a more sort of universal look over it. The only thing I might venture to say, but don't shoot me for it, is you could give it a flat coat on top, and it may be just that the camera is bleaching it out. And sort of giving it a really shiny look, but it looks quite glossy on the underside, which I know they somewhat were, but it will just give you a slightly better scale effect by sort of flattening it a little bit better off. But that's the only thing I would actually say as any type of criticism on that one. Weathering is one of those things, you pick it up over time. You know, when you're first starting out with it, it's one of those things where you try things, you don't like it, you do other things, it works really, really well. You try it on something else and it doesn't work as well. You wonder why it's not working as well that time, and it can be down to things like textures of your paint finish or your flat coat that's on there. So learning it is a real steep learning curve.
I think my first attempt was I tried doing it too quick, and I put the weathering on, not knowing that the clear and everything had dried properly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and the two are sort of mangled together.
Yeah. The trouble is, especially with our wash, and I think it works for other ones, if you come in with your clear coat, be it clear or any type of gloss, when you put in moisture on top, it almost rehydrates it, and you get like a skin. And then you come along, and when you're doing actions like weathering or like scrubbing, all you're doing is pushing it physically into that layer. So when you come to get it off, it's welded in because you've torn that smooth surface, textured it, so you can't get it out. You know, the classic is with the wash, you think how textured this worktop is. If you tip the wash on it, you can get it all off, and that's really rough. But because it's rock hard and not letting anything absorb in there, you can get it all off. And that's the same with your modelling. If the paintwork's a little bit soft, then it can cause no end of troubles. And that's the trouble when people have done it, especially with my wash in the early days before people really knew how to use it. I used to get a lot of people saying, oh, I put it on and I can't get it off. And that's because they only cleared it sort of 20 minutes before they put the wash on. Because hand look all, it's dry. But deep down, it's still wet. And that's the trouble with enamels, and why I moved away from enamels really, is just take too long to dry.
Okie dokie. Colin, post 7. Hi, Phil and Sid from Auckland, New Zealand. The show starts at 8 AM New Zealand time, and it is Wednesday here. New Zealand being 13 hours ahead, the show streams no problems and is very enjoyable.
13 hours ahead.
Ouch.
It's like tomorrow's people, then.
It is, yeah. See, they can see into the future.
Yeah, that's it. You can see in the future.
Finally going to manage to finish a group build, the D-Day
one,
build. In fact, should be finished Sunday. Amazing. Glad to see you both like rugby. Shame that the All Blacks will give you another ass whipping on Sunday.
Or will they? Or will they? Hey, look, we've whipped their ass occasionally. I remember it, I think. We must have done it once, twice. No, we've done all right in the past.
I think we've done all right with everybody else. It's just...
Yeah, the All Blacks, we tend to have a bit of a murmur. Bit of a stumbling block at that point.
It's a good match though.
As I've always said though, if you're going to lose to anyone, it'll be All Blacks. And I must admit, after sort of obviously England, I do support the All Blacks, and I have got the All Blacks from the top as well. So as I say, I can't be too biased because I actually support the All Blacks, especially if they're playing other countries who I'm not going to go into.
I saw somebody doing an interview speech on one of them, and they try and said, you know, what do you feel when the All Blacks do their stage off at the start? He said, does it scare you? He says, no, it inspires me. So I thought,
oh, come out and do a bit of iron.
yeah.
Particularly pristine in the white today. You get that stain out, Jeremy? Yes.
Not that type of thing. Post 8, which is Wayne. Hi, Phil and Sid. Looking forward to the show. No questions tonight. Just going to sit back and enjoy. Looking forward to meeting the crew at Telford. Hopefully, you'll be sober. Just a quick word to say thanks to Phil for giving so much back to us members. The new camera looks fantastic.
Thank you. Well, I must admit, I do like to reinvest. Shall we say, I could have gone all the on the price of that.
You could have.
Well, actually, I could have gone to the Caribbean for 3 weeks for the price of that.
Yeah, but would you want to take Mel on the Caribbean for 3 weeks?
Yes, I can say that because you might be watching this upstairs.
Oh, this is true. Yeah.
Of course I would.
Oh, she's adorable. Everybody should have a Mel.
I can't hear her, so I presume she's not. She's probably watching Crime Investigation or something.
Post 9, which is Mike. Evening all. At present, my local hobby supplier cannot get the Tamiya XF85 rubber black paint in stock. What would be a good mix as a substitute? Since I live in the US and cannot make it to Telford, I cannot wait to see the pictures that will be posted at that button. So I'm laughing at you.
Yeah, trying to get the top off. To be honest, it's
difficult to try and get that.
Yeah, as I say, the only thing you could possibly do to get this type of colour, if I'm honest, is to mix in a small amount of very dark blue, because that's the type of hue it's got. It's more of a, I don't know, do you like that one?
Oh, that's chewing gum.
Oh, was it? Oh, I thought you were a bad
You're doing it meaning that.
No, the thing is, as I say, it's one of those really odd colours. It's not just the colour; it's the sort of texture it has afterwards. And I know technically it's an XF, so it's a flat. But if you rub it your finger, for some reason, it's almost like real rubber. It gives you,
different about
definitely something a little bit odd about it. That said, we have to say, if you can't get this, and I'm looking for it because I'm sure I've got it up there somewhere, H77 on the gun stuff was my choice before this. It's pretty close. It's just that I prefer Tamiya paints purely because of drying times and stuff. The gun stuff takes a little bit longer to dry. Is pretty good, and it was always my sort of tire paint and rubber type of thing. And they do call it is actually, yeah, tire black. H77 from the Guns Sanyo water-based stuff. Very nice stuff. So yeah, the hobby color one is pretty much close-ish. It's not the same, but if you can't get hold of this, that would be my other color to do. But as I said, it's almost like when you look at the cap, it looks blue. I know you can't tell.
No.
Would you know the difference?
I can see a difference.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, this one, when you look at the cap, actually does look blue, and that would be my only thing to it, is to say, stick in a very dark blue. Like if you're using Tamiya, I know you're saying you can't get hold of that, so I don't know why I'm saying that really, because you can't mix Tamiya with it. But something like a royal blue, I think they do, was it X3 royal blue, perhaps mixed in with a bit of black, might be close. But as I say, it is quite an odd colour. But for your alternatives, then definitely H77 from the gun stuff. Works very, very well.
Okie dokie.
Got really itchy nose tonight.
No, that as well.
Yeah,
must be
something
the
in
heat.
here. Might be. Yeah, got the heating on. Well, sort of.
And as we've said, we will make sure that there's some pictures up for you.
Yes, Sid is going to be our official cameraman. He doesn't know it yet, so I've just told him. But he's going to be taking, not that one, but one of these,
go on.
around the show and everything else. So if you want to do a video blog, just stop him and say hello, and we'll show him all on the news show. That'd be funny. You have people queuing up now, saying,
I'll have a little flag at the back of me saying, "Floyd, come and stop and chat."
Yeah. I'll get your t-shirt done quickly. Stop me and chat to me.
Oh dear. Oh, this is you. You put a comment up.
I did. Yeah, somebody was asking about something, so I popped in.
Yeah, so do your pink t-shirt. It's a live show. We have to use the webcam, but still show the
Yeah, that's it.
Shirt. Yeah. Post 11, which is Michael. Evening, guys. Good to see you back on the telly. Tonight's question is: I'm just about to start Ebro's 120th Lotus 72. What would be your recommendation for the black? High gloss or satin for scale effect? Keep up the good work and hope to say hello in Telford.
Make sure you do say hello at Telford.
Indeed, definitely.
To be honest, it's very hard for me to say on this because I've never worked in the scale. Obviously, you're talking 120th. I'm doing in 124th here, and even myself, I'm a little bit, like I said to you, isn't it? Like this has worked really well, but I might put a flat coat or a satin coat over it because it's a little bit glossy, and that's by spraying neat, say Tamiya gloss onto it, which is very stiffly and rough. It's probably more like a satin finish on this, but I'm thinking for the scale effect, it needs to be knocked down a little bit more. So I can't really advise you because I'm not there to myself. When I do this one, because of that scale effect, I can probably look at it better and say, yeah, it's too shiny, it's looking like a toy, you know, knock it back a bit for scale effect. But until I'm actually there, my only advice to be, if you're going to push on quite quickly before I get there, which will probably be a couple of weeks away yet, is to literally do it as a gloss, because then that way you can always go back and you can put a satin over it. Or not even a satin. Don't forget, you don't have to just say gloss satin or matte flat finish. You've got all your bits in between, so you can knock it back quite subtly just to see how it's actually looking and everything else. Nice thin coats, it won't affect your finish or anything else like that. You should be quite easy with it. But if you say, like gun to your head said to me, what do you reckon now? I would say go for more of a satin effect than a total gloss. But as I say, I'm not to that point yet, and having not done a 124th scale vehicle, I think it just depends on. But as you say, looking ahead, if I was going to do a Formula One, I'd probably go for the full gloss thing, see how it looks. Because if you've got full gloss on the bodywork, obviously the shiny bits, the painty bits, but other things are quite satin, I think it will then give you the right scale effect, as long as everything's not gloss. So i.e., you know, obviously when you've got all your suspension, your bits and pieces all on show, your wheels and everything else, if they're satin and matte, but the bodywork's gloss, I think you'll get away with it. That's how I would interpret it if I was going to go about doing one right now. But as you said, it's all about your perception and how you look at it. So I would go high gloss. It doesn't look right, you can always knock it back. Better to do that and go the other way and thinking, I should have done it glossy. Yeah. So yeah, sorry I can't be much more help, but
if there's anybody on the site that
absolutely
watching this or watches back, please post stuff afterwards, and I'm sure Michael will pick it up afterwards.
Yeah.
Post 12, which is George. Hi Phil and Sid. When are you going to do your next armor build? Really enjoyed the IDF Merkava Mark 3D 135th.
Yeah, as I say, armor-wise, I am going to be doing a piece of armor. Actually, thinking at the rate I'm sort of working at, I should think it will be in December. What it will be decided by other things. I have got a bit of armor. I haven't got it down. It's upstairs actually, because Posty delivered it. I was working upstairs in the office and I took it with me. But I have just bought the Tusker Sherman Tamiya's Reeboks, the Easy 8 or whatever it is, with the crew figures and all the bits and pieces. So I have bought that kit. I do have to say, I bought it from Through Model Center, who put it in a plastic bag and sent it here. How it's in one bit is amazing me. eBay, you see. But yeah, it turned up, the box is flattened out, completely at it, and how the screws are still there is beyond me, because all they did was put it in like a plastic bag, sealed it, put an address on it, no packaging, anything. And I'm just, if it had been anything shiny like this, I think it would have cracked and the glass bit's gone. But because it's a tank, it doesn't have them. Yeah. It's a little bit more robust. But the box is literally, all the corners are flat on it. So I'm still getting positive feedback. That's the thing. Supposed to be neutral. The box is ruined. The things I don't care about the box, I don't mind. As long as the contents are okay.
As long as the kit's okay.
I say, whilst we're there, I have bought this, which I just have to mention. We spoke about it on this show. This is, I know I'm hijacking this now, but this is the very first kit I ever built as a kid. And I've even worked it out now with a little bit of thinking about it. I'd watched the film Tobruk, got inspired. That's why it didn't come out green when I did it. because I wanted to do it like the one in Tobruk. So I think there was one in the film Tobruk, or it probably was something I'd seen, and I wanted to do it like that. That's why I ended up doing it in desert-ish colours. It was more yellow than sand. But yeah, this is the same boxing box. They did another boxing of it, which has got the colour strip.
Yeah.
But this is the original 1976, as it says in there, version of the Kitty Hawks / Warhawks. It's the same thing, just British and American name for it, and everything else, costing a whole 49 pence. Look at that, still got the original price on it. Okay. And my second kit I built was the Tempest. So I remember it now because I thought they looked quite similar with big mouths. So back down the model shop, for me another 49 pence worth of kit. And same thing. Anyway, I bought one off of eBay and it turned up today, opened it up, some bastard had had the spinner out of it, the prop, and all the gumps for making it into the Mark V Tempest, which has a different front on it. So anyway, I sent it back. Get me 13 quid back. Talk about inflation. Look, I paid 10 quid for that one. The other one I paid 13. So yes, but anyway, as I say, I can't build it because obviously it's my first kit. But this was the same box as well. Actually came in. Beautiful box art on these ones. So that's it. I might start collecting Matchbox kits now. If they're in one bit, obviously, I don't know how much, like 50% hit rate now. One's worked, one hasn't. So yes, but yeah, that's the one.
Lonely.
Oh yeah, quick, grab his mate. I have the purple bit.
Adrian's put, good evening. Once again, I hope you're both keeping well. Could I ask, is it too late to buy the wash set and collect it at Telford? If it's still possible, what's the correct way to do it? Thanks in advance. I'm looking forward to, as I say, hi at Telford.
Yeah, as we said, don't
wait till you
get to Telford if you can. As I say, don't tell anyone this because nobody's going to buy anything between now and Telford. But you can actually get the. They're doing it as it's just purely a show special, just for the 2 days. They're doing the sanding set complete for 30, and they're doing the wash set for 30. And they have got other offers and deals up there as well. If you want things like t-shirts, mugs, and stuff like that, let us know beforehand because they're taking up a very limited supply. Well, actually, it's already left. That lot's already gone. But they're only taking up, I think it's around about 25 mugs, 25 mouse mats, the t-shirts and various things. So they're not taking the full lot. Hence why we've still got that lot there. So yeah, if you are thinking about those things, so it's quite limited. So yeah, because obviously they're taking up all the other stuff. Still got to do all that like that. So yes.
I can see three big boxes full of sanders. Oh dear. Post 14, which is Mike. Good evening, Phil and Sid. Hope you are both keeping well. My question tonight is, what models have you got on your Christmas list for Santa? All the best, Mike.
Yeah, not much.
I haven't.
No,
as I say, the other thing I'm looking for is stuff to improve my building skills and the painting and stuff like that. Because I've got kits, I'd rather spend the money that I've got, which is little, on stuff to improve me building the kits, or like extra stuff to go in the kits, like cockpits and stuff like that. So kit-wise, I've not got anything.
There's nothing coming out that I'm thinking, oh, got one. I must admit, I've got so much in my stash I want to do. I think that's what it is. I have it in my sort of brain what I would like to do. Obviously, I'm going to throw it open to you guys probably next week now. Exactly, I'm going to do a list and you lot can vote on what it'll be.
I bet be 30 seconds again.
I know, and you know what? I get loads of emails from you guys saying you only build 1/32. You voted for it, not me. I just put the list up, But if you do want to vote for the SPAD,
that's because we like causing you pain.
This is it. But yeah, it's up there. The SPAD at the bottom. Still want to do that. So yeah, 30-second wise, the only things I want to build in 1/32, if I'm honest, as we sit here now, is the SPAD. I would do it. But it's the SPAD. I would like to do that one and the Typhoon, as in the RAF modern Typhoon, Eurofighter Typhoon, in 30-second. It's only because I want to put them on a pole.
Yeah.
Because two Bobs do the Decals, the Invasion Strike one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they did the special Typhoon. Colours
Oh,
Invasion
yeah,
stripes on it.
yeah, I've seen this.
I thought about doing that one.
Oh, fair enough.
Be quite nice. Something a little bit different.
Definitely.
I remember when I did it then. But I did that for the 70th anniversary.
Post 15, which is Nev. Hi, Phil and Sid. Looking forward to Telford. Yay. I will be there on Saturday only because I'm on the Remembrance Parade back in my hometown on Sunday. Both very important and worth the 3.5 hours each way. I will be there with my model club Langley Moore IPMS, and we'll have a few tables at 2F3D. So we are right next to
Yeah,
you.
we're 2D.
And the toilets.
Yeah, by the luge, you can't miss us.
I would like to place my 3 Italian job minis that I did for the silver screen group build on your table.
Lovely, yes, absolutely.
You said you wanted things labeling. Will you be providing them for us to fill out, or do you just want us to put it down down for you know?
Yeah, I will. What I'll do is I will print out. Last year, to be honest, I had this great plan last year because obviously it's the first year we did the full members table.
I love a great plan.
I did a lovely sheet, and it was like a sheet you would do if you're entering competition. So it had like a little logo on it, and it had your name, and it had the actual, kit manufacturer scale, comments. Did them all, never used them. Because in the chaos of the day, we forgot. So they never got laid out, never given to anybody to fill in. But the whole idea is you then pop your details in, so you can lay it down there, and then obviously people who come along to our stand and ask questions, well, can be answered a lot of it, and obviously everyone can see whose models who. So that was the idea. So I will probably update it and do a smaller version because it was pointed out they were like A5 sheets of paper. They're a bit big. Perhaps if we had something a little bit more, sort of a little bit bigger than a business card, you could just slip under a wheel or something and stick it down there so people can see it like that. So I will sort something out. So on the day, if you come up and then you can just pop your details onto the bit of paper and put it with your model, because I know a lot of people said to me like, who did this one, who did that one, and because I've spoken to you, I knew, but obviously a lot of people walking past who couldn't speak to anybody who was, who knew they were, probably wouldn't know whose model was who.
Looking forward to saying hello at Telford. I never see the live show as it happens because it's my Langley Moore model club night on a Tuesday, but always enjoy playing it back later. Keep up the fantastic work. It's just getting better.
Thank you very much.
Oh, on to page 2.
That's right. It took us a half hour.
Ian Smith. Hi again, lads. Phil, I just wanted to tell you that I'm converted to high pressure spraying. It gives a much better finish than the lower pressure way most people use. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, as I say, it was one of those things for me when I was learning to airbrush. Reading a lot of the things about people saying about light milk, 10 psi, wasn't having it. As soon as I turned up the air pressure and went thicker paint, job done.
I'm heartbroken.
What have you done?
John Buller.
Oh, right.
Posted an hour ago.
Yeah.
Evening, guys. Not able to watch tonight.
Oh. After he told me, he was here like 3 hours ago.
Disgraceful.
Yeah.
So we'll watch the replay. Can't wait for the weekend.
Yes.
As
long as he doesn't break down, because he's got half the stock in his car.
That's right, he's going to be in the middle.
Convoy.
I got a clue where I'm going.
Just keep going up the motorway so you get to the Telford side.
Brett, post 18. Hi, Phil and Sid, and good to see you. I took another Tuesday off work to watch from Colorado. Sometimes it's great being the boss. First question, I'm planning my first trip to the UK next November, and I'm going to attend Telford and hopefully hang out with you gentlemen for a couple of days.
Lovely.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What are the best and most affordable hotels to stay, and what would be the easiest place to fly into and rent a car? That's the first bit.
He's coming in from Colorado. Well, Hans does it, but I don't think he's coming this year again. But when we used to pick him up, so we used to pick him up from the airport, he used to fly into Birmingham, which would be the closest one. Birmingham or Manchester will be your closest ones, I reckon, for flying indirect, because obviously you're not that far driving away then. Staying in a hotel will stay with us, because we're in a Premier Inn, which is like a, what they call that in the US. What do they have them? Can't remember really what
motel.
Well, it's not a motel. It's more like it's a
drive-through motel.
hotel thing. But basically, next door there's a very nice pub, and that's where you get your breakfast and your evening meals and everything else like that. And that's what we do. We stay in there with most of us. You know what? We've actually got 7 rooms booked. So you know we've certainly got a lot of people in there this year. That's just what we booked.
How many tables are you going to have to fill out there?
Well, this is it. This is what we've done. That's why. Also, if you are coming, make sure you make yourself known in the forum where I posted up about the evening dinners on the Friday and on the Saturday, because we need to book the tables. Because last time we said to them, can we have a table for 32? She almost fell off her chair. And we couldn't get in there until I think it was like 8:30 before we could get near a table. So we didn't get finished eating till 11, which seriously encroached on the drinking time.
Doesn't it?
Well, actually, we were all pretty half cut before we started eating. That was the trouble. So yeah, that was the thing. But yes, definitely come along, stay with us. But when you get a bit closer next year, give us a shout and we can talk you through the details and the easiest ways and everything else to get to it. But yeah, basically flying into Birmingham, I know you can do it, I think roughly, I don't know if it's a direct one, but Birmingham or Manchester definitely be your closest. Same's coming up from London, which is quite frankly a horrible drive. Might do the same distance for us.
Yeah,
nothing for us to do that. But yeah, it's very worthwhile the trip.
Also, are you considering building on one of the 148th Zucamori kits? Those would probably be considered a long-term build with all the detail. Thanks, and it's great seeing you all again live.
No problem. Yeah, the trouble with Zucamori kits, the really big expensive ones, that don't go together very well.
Oh, fair enough. That's probably why I don't know them.
Yeah. If you remember, I did have the Sky Raider here that's bad as well, which it went away as a price, complete with everything. It's 250 quid that kit.
Was it?
Yeah. The only thing is, a couple of the teams. Steve's built one, Sutcliffe. I'm sure he's on here tonight. As I said, as he pointed out, it didn't exactly go together very well for what you're expecting for the money. We've come to the conclusion, me and a few guys have been speaking about it, we think the tolerances in the CAD design aren't loose enough. So it works well if you don't paint it, but as soon as you put a bit of paint on each inner bit and a bit on perhaps the central spars, because it's got them going through, it gives you a gap down seams and on things.
It's the same, almost like the wings.
Yeah, that's it. So you have to clean those parts before you put them together. And sometimes, you know, we don't. Let's face it, I'm guilty of it as much as the next person. But, you know, you stick it together, you end up with a seam. So I think the tolerances are probably a little bit too tight. So if you used to build it dry, i.e. no paint on it at all, I think it could go very well. But as soon as you start adding paint to it, they can be a little bit of a problem to put together and a bit of a handful. Plus the fact there is a lot to line up. You know, you've got all the formers in the wings, all the formers in, you know, the actual fuselage sections as well. It's a lot to get straight and in alignment and to get to go. And as I say, I know I joked about the time, but I still stand by it. Who the hell puts pistons inside an engine block? You see it for the SPAD, it's actually got the pistons molded inside the engine, the radio engine, yeah. So when it both goes together, it's got pistons inside, but you never see them because they're glued together. It's like the most expensive locating pins you've ever had.
Children's programs where they come to life at night time when you're asleep.
Well, that's who builds my kits.
Or when you go.
It's like the elf and the shoemaker. I come down in the morning and they're all done.
With your hands.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they've got these giant fake hands they do it here and go along, you know? That's it. I just have to then dub myself in and pretend I've done it. But yeah, it's like the elf and the shoemaker. Yes, keep your head in the way. But yes, it's very much like that.
Post 19, which is Paul. He's the new member. He's only his 5th post. Hi, Phil and Sid. Looking forward to the show. We'll be at Telford. Cool. Staying over the Saturday. Going to the show on Sunday. Hope to see you there. My question is, you have spoken about weight on wheels lately. Have you tried grease-proof paper and a hot iron, or is it just better to just sand them? Cheers, guys. Paul. Hope this goes in the right place. Not used to the forums.
Well, welcome. No problem.
Indeed,
Perfectly
yeah.
in the right place, got everything right.
Definitely.
There was the old trick, wasn't it? If you saw it about Teflon. Yeah, if you got like a frying pan, Teflon frying pan,
Yeah.
you then could put your wheel on it like this and stick it down, and because of the heat, it bulges. Being Teflon, like some irons are Teflon as well, being non-stick,
Yeah.
it doesn't just melt and boil it away. The heat is a lot less through it or something the way it works. It's all very technical. But the idea being is you could get your wheel and stick it on and melt it in. It gives you the bulge and the flat spot, and because it comes away cleanly, it's not like if you imagine you stuck it on and it melts off.
Yeah.
And that was the idea behind it. Personally, I've never tried it. It's one of those things that I think Mel would kill me if I tried that to her in one of her nice spraying pans. Bad enough, although I cook on it anyway. But the grease-proof paper one, I must admit, is a new one on me. I haven't heard of doing it that way before. Theoretically, my mind would say, yeah, that must work, surely, because if it melts it, it's going to do it. My only problem is it going to melt it enough for the sidewalls to bulge out? Because that's the whole point if you're going to try and do a weight on wheels, to give you that type of effect. So you've got a slight bulge in the tyre walls with the weight down. If you're not going to get that, I think it's pretty safer to sand it, because you've also got the trouble of trying to keep them all at the same height. Because if you're trying to push it on and you go one's a little bit more than the other, you're in a real pain. Because sometimes, I think I've shown it, I'll put the wheels all together in the vise, row them all up in there like that, then sand them so they're all the same height. Because otherwise it's a bit, especially if you've got something, multiple wheels, like a Herc or, you know, some type of cargo where you've got multiple wheels down there. If you've got some different bulges and, you know, cut away, it's going to be a bit of a problem. So I was walking around up there, tricky goes, look. Yes, so that's the problem. As you say, I haven't tried it. Might be one to try, just to see what happens.
Should we get your iron out?
Yeah, I'll get my iron out. But it used to be, you get a little travel iron. Got the soldering iron. Try on that. What can go wrong?
I really think that would melt. Post 20, which is Joseph. Again, hello Joseph. You've only put 4. This is your 4th post.
Very good. Good to see you all in the forum.
Registered in 2010.
I know. Not everybody does it.
Being a bit shy.
Yes.
See, we're bringing them out the shelves.
Well, now everyone knows we're normal.
I'm not saying out of the closet, I'm not saying out of the shelves.
That's it.
Halloween's past though.
That's it, yes.
Hi, Phil and Sid. Phil, whatever happened to the Hobby Boss YF23 build? Your review was excellent and you were so excited about it.
Yeah.
Thank you and have a great evening.
Yeah, to be honest, it's on my hit list for a quick build.
Oh, is it still behind it?
It's still behind you. It's behind you somewhere.
YF something.
Where is it? There he is, like she's over there. This side above the Huey.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is on mine because to be honest, there's not much to it, and I still would like to do it in flight purely because I love it. It looks like it's meant to fly. It's one of those futuristics, and I'm such a fan of it. And if I'm honest, I prefer it lots to the YF22. Sorry, F22 now. YF22. I'm thinking of that now. From the Lightning, I prefer that. You know, if you're going to have an aircraft, make it look futuristic instead of an F15 being squashed.
So you've got weird shaped wings on it.
Yes, yes. You know, if you read the spec, like I think I put that video out in like the time I did the review. You know, it still would beat anything hands down. You know, because it's got with super crews and bits and pieces. But as you say, because it's not quite as normal should be, or like aircraft and that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what the trouble is. But say it's all political, these things. The only thing I wasn't a fan of that generation was which one was it? It was for the Joint Strike Fighter run. You had, I think it was Boeing's had one, and it was like, how do you describe it now? It was like, if you like a Corsair, huge intake on it, right? And it was when they went up, you had that one go against the Raptor, so Lightning wrapped up, and then obviously you had this thing Boeing had against the Lockheed, and it was just that thing. It had a massive intake on it, and it's one of those things. It was just a case of nobody would go for that because it just doesn't look right. You know, it's a bit like that really. That looked too futuristic for its time. You know, And yeah, as I say, this other thing as well was the joint strike thing. It was, you know, that other thing. It was just ugly. You know, I'm talking really ugly. You imagine, like, so obviously it's going to be a naval aircraft, crew falling in the intake every day of the week because it's so big, massive thing.
Barbecue.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's that case of the A6, isn't it? Well, it's an A6 or a Prowler, and they've got a newbie doing the actual hooking it up on the catapult. This is back in the 70s, I think it is. You still watch it on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, it's a brilliant bit of footage. So anyway, what happens is the guy who's like babysitting him and showing him around and everything does the thing. This guy stands up slightly in front of the intake, closest as the camera's looking at it side on, as the pilot guns the engine, and he gets sucked. And it's just like a cartoon because he goes up like that and his legs are just off the ground and gets sucked into the engine. But because the pipe narrows, he gets wedged. But his helmet gets sucked off his head, goes down into the into the turbine blades, shreds the lot, blows the engine, power down and everything, and they pull him out. And then next thing you know, he's on the video with like, you know, it's one of those calls. He's got like bandage around his head, and he's in a sling. And he said, "Well, I can't quite remember what happened." It's like, really,
I learned by my mistake.
Good job, you know. He's quite thin as well. I don't think I'd fit down there. It'd be fine for me. I'll get as far as the collar, you know. The bigger it says danger, I'm stuck there. You know, I've got no hope of going down that far. But he's quite thin. He's the one who didn't go straight through net the other end. But yeah. But no, so we are. Sidetracked again. Sorry.
That'll be expensive.
Yes.
Post 21, which is Mark Hyphen said, Phil, do you know what your next medium 48th plane be? With Telford this weekend, I might pick up the same so I can build along with the videos. Cheers.
Yeah, as I say, I'm going to put a list up so you guys can see what you want me to build. A couple of kits to look out for. Obviously, we're just speaking about it. The YF23, that's going to be one of my either a quick to medium build. It's going to be pretty much straightforward. As I say, I have, well, I don't know about then. But as I say, I want to do the Halifax. That's going to be a medium build somewhere along the line. Yeah, absolutely. The Harrier FA2, I would like to have a bit of a go at that. I'm probably going to do the Kafir as well. So if you're thinking about along those lines, they're going to be coming up in the future. I'm actually going to do the Tamiya F16 again, purely because I get asked a lot about it.
I said to you a while ago, I've never actually built one yet.
No, so I'm going to do the Aggressor on the top. I'm going to do Mukau. So if you're thinking about something else like that, that's definitely the way I'd be looking at it. As I said, I'm trying to. There's lots of kits I have in my stash. Well, to be honest, I build all of my stash. There's nothing there I wouldn't actually build. But there's some kits.
Your stash isn't big.
No,
but the selection that you've got are really good.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do with when I buy kits. Obviously, I buy them into review for you guys, but I tend to try and pick the best of the bunch. You know, so yeah, from that point of view, at the time of buying them, they probably were the best available. So certainly, but as I say, Kitty Hawk's F-35. I know. But I just love that aircraft. And did you see it today? It can be yesterday. It landed the C, which is the one down there. F-35C made its first landing on a carrier. Yeah. Looks funny. It looks like an F-16 from the R7 because it goes down and lands, and you're not used to having a big jet plane looking R7 down it, and it's like, Christ, who landed an F-16 on it? So yeah,
I want to do a 48 Seeking, but they're way up my price bracket at the moment.
Yeah, well, that one there's got the full flight path set to turn it into the RAF bird. Like you say, have you seen the photo etch from that? That's like tons of it. Isn't it? Got to do photo etch. Don't like photo etch. Kill me doing that. I was like, oh god, it's got to be an easier way than photo etch.
Do you ever get fed up with doing it though?
No.
Where you do too much photo etch?
Oh yeah, and that's why I have a break from it.
That's where you'd rather than just go straight out of the box.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, especially to be honest with the Heinkel, it's one of those things. There's so much photo etch in there, and I'm aware it costs a fortune. So you feel like you have to use it because otherwise it is a waste. But I regret buying that now. I should have done my homework and said, look, we just want the cockpit set. We're going to go for the externals. No one's going to see the bomb bay. No one's going to see that. But obviously, from your guys' point of view, I want to show you how to do it. So, you know, I'm going to use it, even if it's not inside it, because I think I say on the build, isn't it? You mentioned last week. Yeah. I've already done it. They're here. I've got the bomb racks. They're going to go in the kit. I'm going to do the other one as a separate so you guys can see it. But I just find photo etch sometimes is just, it's so much work. It takes out the pleasure, you know, which is probably because you know, like I know a lot of you guys are as well. I like to build at a certain pace. You know, I don't want to get bored with it. I want to push on and everything else like that. So you sort of force yourself to do it in one. Which, if you got a bit more time or another kit on the go, you can say, to be honest, like I'm doing now. Right, leave it aside, crack on with these, and then I can go back to it, do the photo bit and pieces, and so I'm not burning myself out on it. And that's why I'm enjoying having 3 things on the go at once. So now we've got the main one on the go, we've got the Target there, the Mark IV, and the Biggie. So it's quite nice how I can sort of, you know, flip through them all, and it gives you a little bit of a break. You know, so doing Yama was a real blast of fresh air. I really enjoyed doing that, and it was a lovely kit to go together. And I'm really enjoying doing this. I look at it and think, shit, that's so far off from completion. There's so much work to do on that. But no, it's
You can't quit because we'll just force you to build it.
I know these clamps can come off now. They've been on it 2 weeks. I'm sure it must be glued by now.
You're showing off with your clamps again, aren't you?
Yes. I've heard a rumour. I heard a rumour today, which I can't confirm it, and I'm not going to tell anyone until I can confirm it, but they may be available in the UK soonish. But I can't confirm that because I haven't spoken to the company who are planning on selling them. But apparently there is a company in the UK, a UK company, who are planning on selling them. But as I say, until I will speak to them at Telford, and I'll find out if it's true or not. So, but say they could be available.
Watch this space.
Yes, watch this space. You know, it's such a good joint. I can't get it out of it now. Oh god, I need to get in there. Probably find out I've glued it on. No, that's not. Here it comes. It's a bit of a tight fit.
While you're fiddling with that,
yeah, go on.
Post 22 Simon Webb snap.
Yeah. Gives all the photos you can see me in the background.
Good evening, you fine, well-balanced, talented gentleman. Okay, I don't know who he's talking about.
The cat's down here. Got the cat today. Special cat. Guess the cat even. Tell it's winter. It's out all summer. It's turned up today.
May I propose a toast to Flooring Models and her members? God bless her and all who sail in her.
Steady. To say that about my ex.
Tonight's questions for the live show. Drum roll. Question 1. Will I be able to get the Harder and Steenbeck Evolution 0.2 nozzle set at Telford? Because I desperately need a new one.
Little Cars. Paul at Little Cars, he does H&S stuff. Have a word with them. I assume he's still, I must admit, I haven't spoken to Paul for Little Cars for many, many years, but he always used to be the importer.
Okay.
So he was the official importer for all things that way. So yeah, I'm sure he will do. He carries tons of stock. You know, I used to work with Paul years ago, and trust me, he buys a lot in for
Lovely. Question 2. Will Phil be able to show us his flight simulation system one day? I know he is really into it. I have radio controlled flight sim software on my computer. I would be interested to see Phil's in action.
You had a go the other day. You spent the afternoon having a go.
Great fun.
He was flying the Huey round. I think you did very, very well. But as I say, that the Huey is not quite as bad as the Mi-8, the Russian one, the big one to fly. But then that's got autopilot systems you can put on. But if you're flying it freehand, but you did very well with the Huey.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
You were zipping around the mountains. You didn't kill yourself.
Nope, not just like came to landing.
Yeah, just on landing. But that's everybody gets caught like that. Vortex ring. You were a classic example of it. It's like catches everybody that way. Yes, what I'll do is we were speaking about this. Is putting a section back on the forum about flight sim and that. So what I could do like a live thing like this via that. Could. So it'd be a bit of a giggle.
It would be.
And see if we can see my flying skills or lack of them. Yes, I will. I could
be your co-pilot.
Yeah, you could film me on the side as I'm doing it. Yeah, you sit behind me. Can we get to land?
Watch out. 5, 4, 1.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm assuming it's because he's edited it a bit.
All right.
He's put, I was quoted £66 for the full set of sanders and washers when I ordered them a month ago. Does this mean it is now 30 after what Phil said? Well, that'd be 60,
yeah.
won't it?
Well,
30 for, 30
it's
for one,
30
for the other.
each at the show only, but it's only at the show. It's nothing to do with the site or anything else. They are purely doing it's a promotion because obviously they're a new company and everything else. So they're doing it as a brand new promotion on the day, £30 for the full sets. So it's what, 40 odd normally. So they're actually doing a bit of a deal, which I didn't even know.
For the sanders set and the washes, it'll be 60.
It'll be 60, yeah, for the full set.
So if you wait until you go to Telford, Simon, then it'll be 60 instead of 66.
Instead of 66, yeah.
Thanks for a great show, lads, and I look forward to seeing the Floyd team and other members on Saturday at Telford.
Yes, we'll
look forward to seeing you as well, Simon.
We're going to try and do the group photo at 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Each day. So come along, stand in front of the stand if we can get us all in there, usually do. And we'll take over the world as always.
Indeed. Post 23, which is Mark. Hi, Phil and Sid. I'm thinking out of the Academy 148 F4B Phantom and would like to liven up the cockpit. Would you recommend using Aries resin cockpit or Edard seat belt and interior set? Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, well, I did it before they were available. So I used the old Hasegawa internal set for my F4B. Depends how far you want to go. The resin stuff is lovely. It takes a little bit of fiddling to get it in there, but it's not too bad once you're in there. But certainly, if you're thinking more of a quick thing, then just go with the Edard Colour photo etch set for the internals. It livens it up. I did it to mine. The Phantom, especially if you're having it buttoned up where it's all closed over, is a little bit, you know, you can't really see much is going on in there. So you're probably better off going with the colour photo etch set versus the resin, because obviously the resin, you have all that nice, glorious detail and everything in there. So from that point of view, I would say go for the colour photo etch set.
Not Pepsi Max, but do you want some?
Oh, go on then. Go on then. You're going to pour off?
Yeah, you pour while I read more. So that was Mark. So
It's
post,
a great kit as well.
is it?
It is. Yeah, I'd like to do the C version.
I said I'd done.
Don't forget, I'll bring it out the JS soon.
I'd done the 32nd Phantom when I first started modelling. I've still got it, and I hand painted it in I think it was 3 colours, from what I remember.
With Matchbox again, didn't you?
It was no, I mean painted it 3 colours.
Yeah.
And that was quite a nice kit to build.
Whose kit? The Rebel one.
I can't remember. It's 32nd scale.
Rebel? The Rebel did 32nd Phantom.
But it probably was Rebel when if it was
Tamiya,
from when I
not sure
first started.
which
No,
options you
it would have been Rebel, I think, when I first started modelling.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't think I would have bought Tamiya first. So yeah, but no, that was an enjoyable kit to build.
Seems like you have to go back over and do it again.
I will. Sticking it somewhere, isn't it?
Got some ceiling space. See a dust magnet.
So have you?
Not anymore.
Yeah, you've got some there,
Oh,
some
over
there,
there.
some over here.
Bad enough banging your head around here as it is.
We've got post 24, which is Dave. Was hoping to come to Telford, but alas, I can't get there. Hope to meet you all next year. I'm struggling to find Model Masters, Metallizers, Sealer. Any advice would be grateful. Also, would you recommend having a second airbrush for metallizer paints? And what's the best cleaning product for hot paints?
Somebody put up in the forum, and I can't remember who it was now, what paint, where they got it from, and it was somewhere in the UK, and I can't remember for the life of me now where it was. I'm sorry, I do apologise.
It'll be in the forum somewhere.
So it is on the forum. Yeah, maybe in the paint, but somebody did find it in the UK. As I said, the trouble is the importer who has created models now have stopped. So they're not bringing it in the UK anymore. Don't forget, obviously, you know, eBay is your friend to a point. And normally it gets past certain post rules as well, because most international sellers don't care. So it can get in, even though it's a hot product, no problem at all. Second airbrush, well, if you can afford it, yeah, it's a nice way to be.
That's what it's a dual.
Yeah.
Whether to have one for like just, I was going to use it just for gloss, one for gloss, and then one for paint.
Yeah, that is it. If you can afford a second one, I tend to run 2 here, I hope that's cleaner in there.
Oops.
Yeah. All right, cleaner in there. Phew. To be honest, what it was, when I did that, I left it and it dried
If
on.
you didn't catch it, as he picked up his brush, it just went whoosh everywhere.
Tip it everywhere. Well, that's today's one. Yeah, I've got there. To be honest, I use my older Evo, and then I've got my my new one, the Infinity over here. So you know, it's nice to have two. I tend to use that one as my sort of other one. I tend to use the Neo for doing all the metalizer type stuff though.
Okay.
Purely because you don't have to carry it, just whack it down in there. So it's not so much of a worry about actually how you're using it and the rest of it, which is quite nice. So if you can, yes, it is nice to have a luxury. I know guys who have 3 airbrushes and they have one that just does clear, one does like metalize and stuff like that, and one does acrylics. Because the trouble is we all have it. Sometimes you get a little bit of like the flecks or everything from metalizer paints in your acrylic paint, and you're putting down your nice green coat and it's got flecks in it, you know. And it's happened to me, I've done it loads of times. Yeah, it's no shiny effect. So yeah, if you can afford it, then yes, it is nice. It's not essential though. If you've only got one airbrush, you know, let's face it, I worked years for one airbrush before I ever went to 2, and that's from a professional basis, you know. But yeah, cleaning them out as I do normally, I just use a standard cellulose thinners. To be honest, I've got gallons of that self-leveling 400 bottles, 400ml bottles of it. I've got 3 of them up the top there, and I just give them a little swill, mix it around with a brush, tip it because it's different thinnesses and it always floats on the top of the silver. Tip that out. Second one goes in, gives a scrub around and all the rest of it. Tip that out. Third one is a blow through, and then I'll still use standard acrylic airbrush cleaner after that, just to knock it through, and away we go. And that's my standard cleaning. It's nothing fancy. As I say, I tend to use own products if I can these days. I know some of the guys are talking about Bobby Waldron stuff again, which is great stuff if you want to do that, knock up your own, the IPA trick and all the rest of it. As I say, it's horses for courses, isn't
it? Definitely. Post 25, which is Bill. Greetings, Phil and Sid. Any recommendation for the best glue, CA, etc. To hold the side canopy windows in place on a 148 Tamiya Mosquito without messing up the canopy with shoddy gluing? Or maybe it's just a stiff drink before trying any approach. All the best, enjoying the show.
Yeah, don't use CA glue. You'll fog. It'll fog. Obviously, if you pre-dip it, it'll stop it fogging. But the trouble with CA glue is it cracks when you try and get it off, and it can be all types of problems. Personally, I am a great fan of using PVA glues for all canopy work, and sometimes it's just a case of sticking it and then just leave it. You know, to be honest, there's a couple of little techniques you can do which I've never shown really, but it's a very old school way of doing it. But if you've got something where you've got a canopy that sort of opens this way, of actually wedging something across so it holds it. So across the seats, I'm looking at the Tornado up there, you could put like a sanding stick across so it actually just holds it. Or you could put something like a toothpick inside it, cuts the right length to hold it up. Then just leave it completely for overnight, and you'll find it be good. And the great thing with using PVA glues is you get that shock factor, as I call it, because it's slightly springy. So if that had been CA glue, you touch it and it cracks, that's your lot. But if you're using a normal sort of PVA glue, it will hold it. Depends on the size. If you're talking 148s, then you should be okay with it. But I know the one you mean. It's probably the Tamiya kit. You get where the bulges are for the windows. Yeah, I know what you mean. You have to slide them in. To be honest, the way I do it is with a tiny bit of PVA glue, because it's a nice, easy job on that. You can just put it in there, push it in, wet, you know, suck on a cotton bud on a Q-tip, give it a wipe, you're good to go, no problem, no worries at all. And it's the same for gluing it down, although with the Tamiya one, as I do, I've never glued one down yet. Mine is still a soft bit down there. It actually comes away, you can lift it off because it sort of clicks in place and makes a perfect seal. But I've got that Tamiya, the Mosquito down there we did as a video build for one of the old group builds. And as I say, that's how I would recommend doing it. You don't really want to mess around with glue, and to be honest, it's one of those ones that once it's in there, is pretty good. And you use PVA glue for all yours, don't you?
I do indeed,
After doing all your vehicles.
Yeah, I must admit, I've got your trick down to a nice little, well, I said nice little art, but I use watered down.
Yeah, thin it slightly.
Crystal clear, whatever it is.
Yeah.
which is the blue bottle from the micro range, but I'm
Mhm.
sure there's others that you
Yeah,
can use.
that's it. Yeah. I was talking to Peter Harris today, and he was telling me about another glue, and it's gone off the top of my head. So, Pete, if you're watching this, post it up. We were talking about what it seems to be exactly the same as Crystal Clear.
Mhm.
I can't remember whose manufacturer it was now, but they do a big one for the same price. And he reckons it's got slightly better grip capabilities than Micro anyway. Certainly better than Gator Glue.
Well, I've been using obviously a lot of kiddies PVA glue stuff for me diorama.
Mhm.
And I must admit, I mean, one of them, it just comes out and it's like stodge.
Mm.
It's like somebody's coughed up a big phlegm ball
Mhm.
because the way it
Yeah.
just flops
Flops
out
out.
of the bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be something different in the mixes
Oh, yeah.
for obviously whatever use it's there for.
Mhm.
Because I thought to myself, I wonder if this would do for doing the canopies. But
I went through loads of
know.
spray glue and everything this weekend. Do you know why? Because I have my niece here, and for her homework, that's be on Monday. Usual thing. Thanks, Dave. She had to do a carnival cart because Bridgewater Carnival. You were there.
I was there. Yes.
And looked great sort of news list.
It was actually
very good.
It was quite good.
Do you want to know? Bridgewater have a carnival floats. Picture Rio. Well, no, it's not quite like Rio, is it? It's Somerset's version of the Rio Carnival, but like with woolies. But they have. What happens is they spend the amount of time and thousands of pounds on these amazing. They call them carts. It's a bit. You can't really call it a cart.
It's almost like flatbed lorries.
It's a flatbed lorries converted with millions of lights on them, and they're all hydraulically powered. They have dancers on them, music. Yeah, so definitely have a look at the Bridgewater Carnival 2014. Just Google that. Trust me.
Yeah, there was some real good entries this year.
Yeah,
I've not seen it for quite a few years, but my partner's never seen it at all.
Yeah.
So hence the reason I took her up there. She's never a clue what was going up there for. And I got up there, I suppose, about 12-ish, past 12. And it actually didn't start till 7.
That's right. Yeah.
But by the time it got to us, it wouldn't get to us until about 10 past 8. And she just couldn't understand why we were going so early.
Yeah.
And we'd only been in the car park 30 minutes. And it was full.
Yeah, so people come from hundreds of miles around to see it.
Walked into the town. Bear in mind, there's Bridgewater. It's okay, but there's not many shops.
Yeah.
Showed her the shops. I said, by the time we come back, I said that the whole pathway of all the hut in the main high street will be chocker.
Yeah.
No, it won't. Trust me, it will be.
Yeah.
And I think we went back about 4 o'clock, and it was absolutely heaving. She couldn't believe it. No. And I says, if you come any later, you will not be able to see.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just absolutely caked full of people just wanting to see it. And the best bit about obviously being on High Street as well is afterwards they do what's called squibbing, which is basically fireworks. Again, from when I first saw it, there was probably 20 people doing it. Now it's the whole High Street, absolutely the whole High Street. And I've been told that these individual fireworks cost a couple of £100 each.
Yeah.
And you literally get people standing up with them above their heads on poles, and they light up in the street, and obviously it goes over the crowd and everything. So that's one of the advantages of being in the High Street. But yeah, no, it was really, really good. Unfortunately, you do get vandalism and stuff like that because it's a very, very tough competition. People do like to, I don't know why they feel the urge to go off and damage or interfere with other people's carts, but they do, unfortunately.
I can show them what we're waffling about because they're probably thinking, "What the hell are
they
they
are.
about?"
There you go. But yeah, some nice pictures. A lot of pirates this year.
Yes, this is what they're all like. And as I say, they're all private individuals do these things.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's teams. They have teams around Bridgewater.
It's all done via voluntary stuff as well. It's not a job or it's done all voluntary clubs.
And this is the squibbing where they set fire to barrels of basically explosives and hold it above your head. There we go. So and the crowd can stand next to it. So I wonder health and safety still allow all that.
There's big signs up saying that you stand here at your own risk.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. So you stand there with a bucket of fireworks above your head.
But going back a few years now, I used to do the medical cover for it. And unfortunately, there was an accident where somebody did fall off the cart and went under the wheel. And since then, health and safety have been so strict. You've got people walking along the side of them. You've got ropes in between, because obviously normally it's about 3 or 4 different parts hooked together. So as they go around tight corners and all that, you've got to have people making sure nobody's running in between them. So but it was definitely a
good old
night. It was good fun.
Well, I had to build a carnival cart in a day, so I made it out of
to get your LEDs out.
I did, yeah. It had LEDs around it. Oh yeah, we did the whole hog on that one. So G, I hope that was good enough. And if you didn't get first prize at school, then send them here, because somebody's in for a kicking for that. So in total, I went for a sheet of the musty foam board stuff. We went through 2 aerosol cans, 1 of primer, 1 of gloss white. We did it all. We had the figures inside it, LEDs running around it, battery hooking it up to the full works for it. So I spent the weekend doing that.
But obviously G done it all.
Yeah, G did it all. If the teachers are watching, I had no influence on it whatsoever.
Just supervising while using the aerosols.
Absolutely. Bless her. Yeah, making sure, didn't go up and smoke with it all.
Oh dear. Right, where were we?
We lost 100 viewers after all that. Oh no, okay, sorry.
26, which is Jason. Good day, Phil and Sid, and greetings from balmy Fort Wayne in Indiana. I had a question. What is the specific name of the flat coat that you have been using to flatten out the decals on the tornado build? I have tried to catch it a few times but can't quite figure out the name. Also, do you know of a good international place to purchase it for a decent price?
Yeah, it's literally just the Vallejo polyurethane matte varnish. It's number 26.651. It's pretty much available anywhere around the UK. It's Spanish, so EU-wise, the European Union, I think you don't have a problem anywhere. US, I'm just trying to think.
Is that like the final matte varnish type thing? Is it?
Yeah, that's what I blew over the decals just to knock them all back. Sprayed it neat.
Because I have problems with the one that I've got. For some reason, I can't get it to go through the airbrush. Well, I must admit, I've not tried it since I've had this brush now. So
the 2 ones you've got is you've got the acrylic resin one, which is number 70.520. Weird numbers.
Yeah.
But the polyurethane one, to be honest, I like them both. It's just that if I want to go for a dead, I mean completely on its face, dead flat finish, trying to kill decals off, and also if I spoke about it during the actual placing them down, they're very, very thick. So to stop it having an edge, by using the polyurethane, it's a thicker flat coat. It sort of smooths it out a little bit better, and it kills everything on contact. If you want a more nicer, refined flat coat, then their acrylic resin is very good as well.
I know you've got it because I've seen it.
Which one?
That's the one.
Which was my way of doing it, and still is. This is the extra acrylic flat. As I say, my technique before it was shake the arse off it, because it really separates quite heavily. You can't see it in this bottle because of the way it is, but it will do. It gets lumps and bumps because you get all these little, then when I unscrew the cap, all the flecky bits where you can see the grud around the top. If that gets in your airbrush, it literally is good night Vienna, because it is literally going to be a nightmare to get that out. So what I tend to do is shake it all completely up. When you're happy with it, let it stand for around about half an hour. Let the heavy debris go to the bottom, then unscrew it, tip it into your color cut with your airbrush very slowly, so all the lumps stay down the bottom and you got the cream off the top. Then spray that. If you don't, and you end up getting white flecks all over your model, that's because the thicker stuff has come up, it's not being atomized on the nozzle and out. And then the bit where your airbrush stops is because some of this thick stuff is down to the end and it physically jams it and can't get it out. But if you're going for a dead flat finish, they're my choices to run to. The extra acrylic stuff, to be honest, as I say, with all my stuff, you know me, I tend to go through sort of fads, because the extra acrylic stuff, if I look over there, I can tell you now, like the Harrier I did, the 30-second Harrier, that had this on, and everyone says that's an amazingly dead flat finish. Well, because it's got this neat all over it. But then other things, I'll literally don't tend to like using excess bit. I can just pick this up and squirt it, and no problem at all. And the acrylic one, this one is very nice as well, which I think we spoke about. Is the same as some of the big ones as well. I've got it in other flavors like that. This is the same one, but in a bigger bottle of, and it was like I forgot I had this one, and I bought it. I was like, oh, this is very good, but actually this is the same stuff, just as the bigger bottle of it. So, you know, as you say, I tend to go through sort of fads with it, and I'm one of these people that I sort of, if it's on my side, I'm spraying and I grab it and use it, because I found that one before I found this one, and various things. But as I say, for practicalities, cleaning out afterwards and all the bits and pieces, I tend to avoid using the extra acrylic stuff because it's a bit of a hassle. Day-to-day stuff, if I just want a standard flat coat right over everything, then I use the polyurethane stuff. But again, like we were saying about the primer, you can't take for it to dry and everything else. This one doesn't. Okay. It dries a lot quicker, the acrylic resin. But like on something like this, because we were talking about it's a little bit too glossy, I don't have a satin version. I've got gloss and matte, but I won't mix them. All I do is use the gloss at high air pressure and put it on so you get a satin finish. And do something else like that.
Okie dokie.
So yes. So you're still using the extra?
Yeah, I'll get rid of that now.
No, all right. Sell that on eBay cheap.
Yeah, I've
call it the Flory effect on eBay now. Hundreds of bottles, extra acrylic.
Yeah, no, I've still got a whole bottle in it, unopened, and probably the other bottle's probably only probably over 3/4 still in it.
Yeah.
So, because I never used much of it.
No.
Post 27, which is Chris. Hi, Phil and Sid. Great show. I am also thinking of converting to higher pressure spraying using an Iwata Smart Jet Pro at the moment.
Sorry, I'm just clearing up.
Can we still get the discount on the Sparmax compressors you reviewed back in March? Hopefully to meet you on the Sunday at Telford.
Yes, of course you can. Yes, hope to meet you too.
Yep.
PM me and I'll send you the promo code with everything Airbrush. We still get 10% off anything you like.
Splendid.
Not from them. Not everything. Everything from them.
Post 28, which is Robbie. Dear problem page.
Dear Deborah.
Not a modelling question as such, but can a spray booth be used to suck cigar smoke and smells from a room?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me and the boss agreed that smoking cigars inside leads to unpleasant smells, but it's getting too cold to smoke outside.
Well, this is smoking the cigars again. Yeah, absolutely. As you say, if you want to know how good that one is, not so much the other two small ones I use in front, but certainly that one behind me, I can clear this room. If you filled it full of smoke, I could clear this room in under 30 seconds. Because you can physically watch it go. Like you've been here when I've done spray course, and when everyone's going at it, it gets a bit heavy. So I flip that one as well, and you can see it. The entire room cloud goes towards it. And the other thing as well, the other week I stood outside there because my vent obviously is on the other side of that wall. You could see it coming out. It was like a tumble dryer going, venting out. It was like that coming out of here. So it worked very well. So yeah, absolutely, of course, good. Worked really well.
Post 29, which is Neil. Cheers for the feedback. Really, really useful. Yes, I did use your wash. Version 2, not the new version 3. But it was over a satin coat. But from the sounds of it, I didn't leave it for long enough, so I'll know next time. Thanks.
Yeah, literally, you want to lay it down. Two ways of thought with this. My always way is when I do the coats before wash goes on, I normally do it before I finish for the day. When I finish for the day, go to bed, come down next morning, and then I'll do it. And you should be fine. But it's to say, if you don't give it a minimum, if you're using an acrylic, sort of 24, sort of 12 hours minimum, I always recommend you go more though. Literally go 24 hours before you come near it, or as long as you can possibly leave it. Because as I say, when it's dry totally, you can get all of that will come off, even over a flat coat. you need to sort of, you know, roughly work out exactly how much we'll use and leave behind.
Earlier this week, I saw a video build using Tamiya Extra Thin to glue the front part of the cockpit on, so that it makes it a better fit with the fuselage. Is this a viable way of gluing a canopy, or is it fraught with risk for the unwary? And if so, what are the gotchas in doing it?
The trouble is, if you're using an extra thin, whatever it touches will fog. Okay, so your problem is if you're doing a canopy and it comes upwards for whatever reason, so let's just assume you're inside of your canopy. So do it on the white. So you've got your instrument panel, for instance, we're just going to talk about modern aircraft. So you've got your instrument panel comes up and goes over, and your canopy is coming up like this. Okay, so you've got like a gap. If you glue it and the glue comes up, it literally, the capillary action sucks it up, it will fog and go milky color because the plastic will start to weld and get out, and especially if you move it or touch it, that's it. If you can get it and you're on a situation perhaps where you're putting something, if you were doing something on like the HE111, you've got your glass parts coming on here, if you've got a strip of metal work molded into the clear part itself, which I'm not sure what it is at this point. Like, for instance, it's probably a good one here. On this one, you've got this entire side down here, which is the one which is going to go down here. You've got a huge gap of where it will be painted. Okay, the bottom bit you haven't, but you could glue that because obviously it's got nothing on here. The other one as well, I've got the little bubble one here. This is all going to be painted. It's got windows in it. You could quite happily put that on with normal weld action glue because you're not going to see the join of it. The problem you've got is where you're going to come and you're going to put like the nose section on the end here. I certainly wouldn't pop it on and use a dab of glue to run round, because if it does go, that's it. There is no coming back from it. That's ruined. So I would say better to go safe and use a PVA glue, because the other thing as well, if you use a PVA glue, if it's not right, you can pull it off even once it's dry and get back into it. One of the good things was when I did the Hawkeye, which I don't know if it's still on the site, I think it is, but the Hawkeye build, I finished it, unmasked it, opened it up, and one of the insides was covered in dust because of filler dust and sanding dust from inside. And it was like, shit. So I actually cut the window open, pulled it out, put a paintbrush in, dusted the windows off and all the rest of it, and then literally gave it a blowout in there with the airbrush to kick it all out and get it out, and then glued the window back in. But if I had used any other type of glue that had gone rock hard, I couldn't have done that. So it does give you the option to get back in there afterwards. But as I said, if you've got the situation where you've got some barring, which is going to protect between the two parts coming together, then you're pretty safe. As long as it's got like a mill running around, you're going to be okay. But if it's on a situation where you've almost got an edge to an edge of glass, you don't want to do it. So
even if, say, for like the Hawk, if you've got the outside open, if you put the, say, the Tamiya Thin on the actual plastic of the fuselage, the cockpit side, wait for that to dry a little bit, then put the cockpit on, would you still get that fogginess?
Yeah, as you say, to be honest, because on that one you've got quite a nice little area, what you could do is literally tack it with a bit of glue, a super glue, because it's got there's a lot of stuff around it, so you're not going to get the fogging. But I think if you were doing stuff that's smaller and tighter, like, you know, certainly on a 1/48 scale, there isn't much barring room.
Right.
You know, the Hawks, as I say, on a 32nd Hawk, you could probably get away with it because the barring's like 1.5 mil all the way around. But say if you're doing like the Tornado, you've probably got 1/4 mil. So I wouldn't risk it.
Fair enough.
Would be my thing. And I have got caught in the past because I did things on, I remember I did a Hasegawa Harrier, the GR7, one of the very early builds we did, and I had fogging on the inside completely. And that was caused by extra thin had gone in, because when I did the HUD, it tracked down, it ran down the front onto it and then glued up and fogged.
Yeah, it was a code warning.
That's it.
You've got the heaters on.
No, that's it. He's just a bit, you know, steamed up in there. Yeah. Just a bit. You can always spot that when a model has done it, because he has like a cover over his windscreen and part of the diorama. That means he's ruined his clear part under there, because I know everyone used to do that as a standard thing, you know. So you have your model sat there and they've got a cover over the canopy. Oh, he ruined his canopy.
P.S. reference the camera. It always strikes me as kind of ironic. Model makers not reading the instruction manuals for gadgets, flat pack, furniture, etc.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't read them either.
No, that's it. And that's the thing. White balance is the bane of my life.
I vote Phil's next kit to be the HK model 132nd B17.
Yeah, that's it. I will do the Lancaster when it comes out.
Post 30, which is Ben. Good evening, Phil and Sid. Hope you're both well. I was hoping to post some pictures of some recently completed builds for you both to view, but time got the better of me. So I hope they will be welcome on your table at Telford.
Absolutely, yes, please.
My question tonight is to Phil. You always say you like to expand your modelling and try different things. How would you feel about doing a large-scale figure or bust? E.g. 120 mil to 200 mil. Just a thought. I started doing them and picked up some techniques and skills quite quickly, and they don't take as long as you might think, especially for someone of Phil's skill.
Yeah. As I say, I know people who do them very well. I've got a couple of female colleagues actually who that's what they do. They do a lot of not busts before that
Nothing.
but a lot of figure painters that spring to mind, and who are very good at it, and that's what they do. It's that thing as well where your interest lies. To be honest, it doesn't spark my interest, but it's one of those things that it annoys me I can't do from a modelling point of view. Like even if I was doing a figure, I was like, oh god, you know, the eyes on it are going to be all over the place, going to look like some mutant zombie. So I would like to learn the things. The only thing I do know how to do, because I've done it before, is obviously airbrushing. One of the things I used to do years and years ago is for a friend of mine who used to do figure painting as well. I used to airbrush all the bodies and do the flesh tones, because obviously putting on with an airbrush gives you a very nice almost makeup effect. So I used to do that, and then they used to do all the detail work. So I can do that bit to an extent. It's things like facial features I would struggle on, you know, trying to get them, make them look like normal human beings instead of some mutant from the planet Zonk. And that's the thing. But again, it's one of those areas where it's more of a personal thing than trying to show you guys it, because I would need to sit down and physically practice and learn and go through it all, and I don't think anybody's going to want to watch me practice and learn going through the motions of it. Well, I said this week I'm going to try and paint a figure and I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I don't think it's going to have the same ring to it.
I don't know, I think quite a lot of people will watch that.
Probably. I'll do it on a live show one day. You do the talk and I'll give it a whirl. We'll double cam it and have another cam in here. We'll have one doing the local live show and another stream coming in with just showing what I'm doing. It's something I have thought about doing, that we'll have two cams going and people can watch both live at the same time. So.
Look forward to seeing you both at Telford on Saturday and Sunday. May be able to join you for a drink in the evening too.
Yes, Telford Central, probably 7:30 onwards.
Just quickly, is there a planned members meet this year?
Yes, 2 o'clock at our stand. Out the front for a photo of it, and then obviously each evening, Friday from I think it's around about 7 o'clock, 7:30 onwards. The pub, I can't remember what it is, but the Premier Inn, Central, Telford Central train station. The pub next door. That's where we live.
Okay.
I mean, hang out occasionally. So we will be in there every breakfast, every evening, and all the bits when we're not at the show. That's where we can be found.
Page 3, post 31, which is Sean. Hi guys, have you ever tried to pass on building models onto anyone else in your family? I tried it with mixed results. I think people would rather play the Xbox these days. Yeah, I tried to get my kids into it. And yeah, they were okay for an hour, and then it was lost interest.
Yeah,
they couldn't be bothered with waiting for the glue to dry. They couldn't be bothered to wait for the paint to dry.
No, that's right.
Then they'd want to paint the canopy and all sorts. And because obviously now I've got into doing it a bit more than what I would say, sort of just whacking them together. I'm there trying to say, well, got to take your time. You've got to allow for it to dry.
Yeah.
You've got to clean the parts,
That's the bit they hate.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So on the first couple, I gave them sort of air fix matchbox kits just to bung together so they could see how they go together.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple of other kits that I sort of like. Now take your time and build them. As I must say, all three of them gave it a go, but in the end, they just got too bored of it.
Yeah, that's right.
They lost interest.
No, well, for mine, my oldest daughter used to, but as you say, not anymore. That was just to say you'd end up with a pink one or a red one with stars and like, which is fair enough. But actually, I have to say this, and I know you won't watch this, but Ryan, my nephew, he's actually quite talented, you know, and I can't take kudos for it. Well, I can, because he does come here. We have him when his family's away and that, and there's a classic example of, I have Sky piped in here. And at the weekend, he was sat in that very seat and he built the Revel 72nd Raptor. And we put on, I said, oh, we want to watch a film at the same time. And he's like, all right then, go on then. And I said, what film do you watch? And I said, have you seen the new Superman? So I know he's into that. And he's like, no, I haven't seen it. So I bumped it on the old Sky movies. He never looked at the screen once in 4 hours of being sat in here without other films. He was completely into what he was doing, which was absolutely fantastic, you know. And I've just got him into that stage now where he doesn't just want to build the whole thing and then paint it. He knows about the breakdown, i.e. don't stick weapons and gear on it, then we'll get it into paint afterwards and then put it together. But he's just moved house at the moment, so I know he's a bit busy. And he probably wouldn't admit to his mates, but or his girlfriend and all the rest of it. But he's 15 and he's well, I don't know if he's a chip off the old block, but my brother's lad, he is actually very good at it. And as you say, he's just got to that level now of actually breaking down builds instead of just trying to put it together. So yes, not too bad at all.
My partner's was brought up around her dad who does model railways. But last year he had a stroke, so he had to get rid of all his 00 gauge. Then he went to is it N gauge or NO gauge? It's quite a big scale.
Oh right.
It's
I don't know how it works. I just know 00 is almost 70 seconds.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But this scale is I say it's a fair size, and it's all sort of old tin stuff.
All right, yeah.
But unfortunately, I mean, he can't even really do that now because his sight's been affected. But my partner's always been brought up around going to model railways, displays and all that sort of stuff. So she knows obviously of the railway stuff, but she's never been interested in actually doing it herself, which is fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah. But no, if you can get the kids in, I think it's great. But it's so difficult these days.
But I must admit, I mean, I had my kids every I think it was every 4th weekend, and I wouldn't put the game station on. If the weather was nice, they were outside. If it wasn't, they were inside playing board games. Action Men. For my daughter, it was playing with ponies or cats or whatever else that I bought her. And they used to whinge at me, saying that I'm forcing them to play games that they don't want to do. Because if I left them to their own devices, they'd be in front of the TV, and that's where they would stay. Yeah. And I'm a great believer of that. If the weather's nice, they should be outside. That's the way I was brought up, and I don't think that was harmful. So
yeah.
But honestly, I've got a game station, and I hardly touch it now.
No, it's not.
Hardly touch it at all.
There's enough time.
No. I just haven't got. I'd rather sit in my model room.
Yeah,
and go up in my model room and do that rather than sit in my game station. But there we go. And back to this one. 32, which is Dave. Hi again. Another question. Would you ever consider revisiting old builds to put them into HD quality, especially the Hasegawa F18? There are so many to choose from. I don't know which one to buy. Any recommendations? Thanks.
Yes, that's why I'm doing the F16. I am going to do the F18 Hornet. We did the F last time, which is the 2-seat Super Hornet, Foxtrot. I'm probably going to do the Charlie model, so I've got it down there, the old Legacy Hornet, single seat. I am going to go back and do them because, as I say, a lot of them are almost, you know, I've built them for a reason, because they were, you know, bread and butter, what I think are popular models. So things like the Harrier and 48 and things like that. So I am definitely going to go back and do them. So it's something for next year, certainly, to revisit. And that's why I took them originally all off of the site, all the old ones, because we did remove, I think it's about 15 full builds, purely because it was the jumpers. Couldn't keep up with jumpers. Everyone mentioned it. They said about, oh, I loved it in the old days. Have you had your hairy jumper
It's a shame
on?
you still haven't got them.
No, that's it. Actually, it's what Mel said. Actually, she said it's a good job you don't have them anymore. She was banning me from wearing that now.
So out of all the Hasegawa F18s, is there any one specific?
As I say, it depends on the version you want to do. If you want to do, obviously, the A, B, C, and D version, the Legacy Hornets, then obviously all the Hasegawa ones are really good. No problems at all with them. Very clean, crisply molded. The Hobby Boss ones aren't bad. They're not as refined, not as nice. They're a little bit cheaper, but they do build into a nice kit. I've got the Hobby Boss one down there. It's my thingy one. The one down there in the digital camo.
Oh yeah.
In all the squares. That's the Hobby Boss kit. And a lot of people think that's the Hasegawa kit. It's actually not. It's the Hobby Boss one. But yeah, certainly. If you're thinking along the lines of obviously the newer ones, the Super Hornets, the Echo and the Air, and the Foxtrot, then obviously Hasegawa again. They are far superior, obviously, to the Italeri ones. That said, though, the Italeri ones, you know, if you're just going for a straightforward out of the box build, they're very nice kits. They've got the right shape. They're just, the Italeri ones tend to be based on the pre-production model, so it's a little bit older. The Revel ones I don't really like, if I'm honest. I built them, as I say, I've built a few Hornets over the years. just one or two, 100. But yeah, the Italeri version gets my vote over the Revel one. I've done things like drop the flats and slats on the Italeri one, and they go down and look the part very well, where you can't do that because they're molded in the upright position for on the Revel kit. So, as I say, it depends what version you're going for. Hasegawa, obviously all of them, because they're all brilliant. Even the Growler, which is a really nice kit. As I say, Hobby Boss do the Legacy versions, the A, B, C, and D versions. Obviously, the single seat, 2 seats. You know, and as you say, if you can't, the Real ones are okay. It's just they're a little bit clunky. And the way they go together is a little bit of a pain.
So post 33, which is Michael. Hello lads, looking forward to the show. What do you think it is with us modelers and stashers? Why do we buy models we will probably never get time to make it? Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, that's it. I had a friend of ours' wife said to me exactly the same thing. You're never going to build all these, so why'd you buy them? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, but you will.
And I said, well, you buy shoes that you wear that hurt your own feet. You know, yet you keep them. Why? You know?
Post 34 is from Stuart. Hi, Phil and Sid. Looking forward to another great show.
Evening.
Owen he's put up some pictures here. What page are we on? We're on page 3.
I'll be right there.
Post 35.
Page 3.
Good evening, men. I'm watching here along with Katie. Hello, Katie.
Katie.
For the first hour before she goes to bed. I was hoping to meet you guys at Telford, but I've had to cancel due to thugs robbing and burning out my wife's car. Oh, that's not
charming.
Good.
Yeah.
Now my savings will be going on a new car. Oh dear.
Sorry, mate. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. But on a happier note, I've been working on my Stug, and Katie asked if she could put on the mud.
I was going to say, it looks like chocolate.
It's a mix of Humber Dark pigment and PVA glue.
It looks just like chocolate. Is that just my telly making it look like chocolate?
As you can see, she did a good job. She's really getting hooked on the hobby and has been asking all weekend when Phil and Sid's on.
Oh God, corrupted a minor.
We have.
No,
That's a very good job.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
He looks like Nutella.
And
I was just going by the colour, not the effect, by the way, because the effect's brilliant.
I was going to say, it looks wet as well, so that's ideal.
Probably still is.
No, it's supposed to look wet.
It does. No, it does, absolutely. Well done, Katie. Very nice job on that. We like the rusty effects.
Definitely.
And chucking it all through. So by the time it gets its running gear on and its tracks on that, that'll look really much the part.
It will
Because
indeed.
you're not going to see any of this anyway. It's all going to be covered up.
Mm-hmm.
But all this under here and the bit round here, and I'll have the splash underneath. Very good.
Yep, very
well
well
done,
done.
Katie.
Indeed. Stay on there because
Yeah.
it's post 36 from Toby. Hi guys, here's my first go at photo etch. My
Works.
Cambria PR9 cockpit.
Canberra.
Canberra.
Very nice. I say that's the thing, isn't it? When you look at the sort of detail around here, as I say, I know the camera quality isn't brilliant on this, but certainly we can see it. It is absolutely sweet. There's no way you could ever do that with resin.
And
And
I, I don't mind photo etch for the cockpit.
yeah, I think it's a must. Almost. Yeah, I would. You know,
It's
if I
just
was doing
everything else that
commission
goes
work
on with it.
today, and somebody said to me, right, okay, can I commission you to build X, Y, and Z? I would say to them, you're going to need a photo etch cockpit, you know, as a must.
Yeah.
After that, it's your call, but I'm not going to mess around with doing a cockpit job.
Definitely.
You know, we'll stick a photo etch for the sake of a tenner.
There's another picture after.
Yeah, beautiful job. Nice harnesses as well.
Definitely.
Let's say my only thing is with harnesses and stuff like that is it's just a little bit two-dimensional because you always have to lay them flat, and I'm guilty of it because all of mine like it as well. And as I say, I know you can get the new fabric type ones and all the rest of it. My other bugbear as well with colour photo etch, it always splits about here, doesn't it, at the top? So you end up having to glue that bit down because it peels off the metal. And if you've had that trouble with them, but no, it really is nice. The detail around there is absolutely exquisite. Very nicely done, and a good old job on that. One thing up here, it looks like you're peeling apart, because I know what it is. It's two bits that you bend over. To get rid of that problem and to make it look good, if you put a drop of thinned PVA glue and let the capillary action zip around there, it'll make it look solid, even though it's not, but it'll give the effect of it being completely one.
Fill in the gaps.
And it gives it more of a rounded look to the handles as well. It stops them looking flat. And it's a little trick I used to do for doing it, because obviously it's two bits and you bend it over so you have the top and bottom, but it's like PVA glue around it, let it dry, and it'll give it the effect of being thick instead of two-dimensional, because it sticks upright. It's quite noticeable on it. So yeah, nice little touch. But no, beautiful work, really nice. That we like all of
that. So we're on to post 37, which is Robert. Hello men, just wanted to I know yay, we've grown up a bit.
That's it. You bunch of kids normally.
Just wanted to give a thanks for the link to the Hornet build. Hope to get started on mine this weekend.
Sorry about the jumper.
Jubbly. He's not really.
Actually, is that the one with the banging in it? When I'm having a new roof put on my house, so I had to move from the studio and went down to the bedroom.
I've seen that.
Because you can hear, at some point you can hear swearing, and that's one of the roofers dropped his hammer. And if you listen closer, you can hear it slide, and then there's a gap, and then a big smash, because it hits a pile of tiles before they took them up. It went off the end and smashed about 10 of them off the top. I think it could have been worse. It could have been the dog or something under there.
Steve Sutcliffe. Hi, Steve.
Dave.
Yep. Phil and Sid. Looking forward to another wonderful live show. Hope you're all set for the weekend. I am bust. Putting finishing touches to the models I am taking down for the table.
I'll give you a bell tomorrow. Was to mention it because I forgot to do it today. I was supposed to do a chat with him, but with everything going on and everyone being here, I got sidetracked.
Gary post 39. Hi Phil and Sid. I was hoping to bring my son's Toby to Telford so he could ask this question in person, but it's a 5 o'clock start and a midnight finish on train. A no-go as far as Mum was concerned. What he wanted to know was, how can he get some contrast on his Airfix Gladiator when he paints the black side of the early raw black and white half and half scheme?
Yeah, as we spoke about before, don't use black. I know it sounds really stupid to say that, but honestly, if you can avoid just using normal black, okay, and use a different shade of. So what we're saying is, if you've just got a black, cut it with a little bit of dark grey, okay? That way it'll give it a slight hue, okay, and then spray that over your black side. Then you can run back with your normal black, and then just do, obviously on a Gladiator, you've got your ribbing and stuff like that. Just run it over those to give it a darker shade, and that'll break it up nicely. On the white side, you're just going to reverse that. You're not going to use just pure white. Put a tiniest drop of grey into it just to take it to an off-white, okay? And then go across, but instead of doing it on the high points of the ribbing, use pure white in the bits in between, okay? So it gives the effect of there's barring and stuff behind. And that's actually what I did on the Wing That Wings one, to give that effect of ribbing. So, and just things like that. So you can actually go around and give it quite a nice look by doing it that way. As I said, if you've got anything with a black, just avoid using just a pure black. Unless you're doing something like this, which it doesn't matter. But if you're doing things as an overall colour, you just want to steer clear of that a little bit and put something else down. But certainly that would help. And then afterwards, dry brush it with a slightly lighter shade of the black. So again, add a tiny bit more grey to it, okay? Knock up a small batch, dry brush it right the way over. And because you've got that raised texture of the ribbing of the Gladiator, you can then bring the details from it to life. And again, it gives you that sort of three-dimensional look to your paintwork because you've obviously got the lighter grey, darker ribbing slightly on it and everything else, and it'll just then blend it all in. If you're feeling it's too grey, you've gone too far, then just knock up a thin, and we call that filtering, like we do, and then literally just airbrush right the way over top a darker shade and knock it back until you feel happy with it. But remember to let it dry in between coats, because otherwise what can happen is you might think, oh, it's not, go through, and you end up black again. Okay, you sort of ruined all what you're trying to do, but that would be my info to do it.
They put on there, if you get to this before 8 o'clock, please say hi to him as he would be tuned in. But hi, Toby.
It's 9 o'clock.
But at least
overshot.
If he watches it,
you watch it on
if he watches on a replay,
indeed.
So, be good to see it on a picture.
Yeah, we'd love to see the video. Remember, PM me as well where it is, because sometimes I don't get around to everybody's exact one. So I'd love to see that. But have you heard the rumour? FX Gloucester Gladiator? Possibly. I'm not saying it is or not. I'm just, there's a rumour mill going around now. A 30-second Gloucester Gladiator could be Airfix's release at Telford for next year. Do you remember the Typhoon last year? Yeah. Well, obviously they're going to release something, and the rumour mill's now going around. It could be Gloucester Gladiator. 30-second scale or 24. Big rigging.
Either way, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Reese, post 40. Hi guys, love the live shows. My question is, what colour is Phil planning to do the tracks on his Mark V World War I tank?
Yeah, when you look at the references of it, it's like a darker shade of that. And one thing I was actually thinking of doing is using the dark iron XF84 as the sort of base colour for it, and then doing a slightly lighter shade of it and dry brushing it on as if it's got that sort of scraped it. Obviously mine's going to be on a small diorama, I'll get around to it, and it's going to be quite muddy, so it's going to have mud effects on it and everything else. But that was my plan to it. So there, they call it dark iron because that's the colour it looks like it is. It's like a lighter shade of it, so I'm thinking that's going to be my base colour, and then I'm going to lighten it up a little bit, add a bit of grey to it, then dry brush the entire track, so all the bolts and that well, riveting on there jump out, and then I might give it a light go over with something else just to give it that scraped look and everything else to it. So that is my plan for that one. But I think XF84, I don't know what the instructions actually say for it. In fact, the instructions I think are over here on the slide. Oh, they're next to you. Yeah, I'll pass them over. I'll see what it says. That's on that top one as well, because it's got the colour call out thing there. It's got the pictures from Bobby. So yeah, when you look at the one from Bovington, as I say, they look really dusty. Probably is.
Probably is.
But as for the tracky colours, as I say, it doesn't actually give them a call out on here as such, does it? I don't think. Or certainly not on the individual. Just see what it says in here. But when you see pictures of them, they've all got that. See, they're saying XF84, isn't it? So that's what I was talking about as well, which is a bit of a fluke. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing anyway. Because I'm going to take them off shortly, so when it goes into paint, that obviously spray are separate, put them on afterwards, and away we go.
Niels, but ever tried making an animal model? Other than the childhood dinosaurs you mentioned, I suspect to do a realistic job of it, you'd need a lot of subtitle and soft variations in the paint to make the fur look nature.
Yeah, natural. Yeah.
By the way, I went to Sainsbury's the other day and they had run out of Haribos.
Yeah, worry about that. Haribo, classic. Yeah, fur on animals and stuff like that. Yeah, again, figure painting. Well, that's got to be a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's a very fine brush and a lot of patience, I would have thought.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who does dragons. Massively into dragons. He goes through gallons of my wash. Literally goes through gallons of it. I did him a special one. He had a 1 litre bottle of dark dirt because he goes through tons of it. So I did him a deal on it. But it's amazing because he does obviously fur and various things. He had one the other day. It looked like half a carcass of a sheep in a nest. It's got a dragon that's on the side, and it's got little dragons, and it looks like it's like half a carcass of a sheep.
Has it got dragonlets?
Dragonlets, yeah. But he did an absolutely fantastic job. So I don't know if Adrian watching this, but yeah, he does an amazing job with dragons. He's very much into sort of your fantasy and all stuff like that. But you say, I imagine it's, we talk about sort of tones and different layers and things like that. That's got to be a whole new ball game to give it that realistic, especially with fur. To give it that sort of realistic look, got to be tricky.
I would have thought so.
Yes.
Post 42, it says Ian. Good evening, gentlemen. Unfortunately, I can't watch live tonight as I am in the car park awaiting the start of footy and awaiting our line something close to Watham. Looking for advice on final varnish. I'm about to finish a BF 109. Would you use a matte final finish? Is there a general rule for finishes, i.e. matte for World War II, satin for modern? Coming up to Telford on Sunday. Hope to see you all then, especially as my daughter has told me to buy a pen. and a mug, and a sticker,
yeah,
and a t-shirt.
All available at very reasonable prices. There's no real rule with all your things. It's what looks right to you. So at the end of the day, if you're going to be in a situation where you're thinking, obviously deserty types, it's dry, you're going to go with more of a flat finish. If it's an older looking 109, you're going to want to make it look more flat, dead finish and everything else. If you're thinking it's more of a pristine looking aircraft, perhaps more of a satin. And also thinking of the environment that it's in, i.e. if it's in somewhere deserty type of colours, and obviously you're going to go for dusty stuff, so it's going to be dead flat. If you're thinking more European, you get away with more sort of satin finish to it and everything else. Generally, my rule of thumb is if it's 1/32, I will kill it dead flat, and dead flat is dead flat, as you all know with my stuff. 1/48 modern, I'll go pretty much dead flat, but if it's World War II, I'll go with more of a satin finish. Purely because I think it looks more realistic than going in. And then, but you should say there's different versions between satin that you'd get out of the bottle and satin when you're spraying it. Certainly, I always say one of the best satin finishes you can get is clear at high pressure, because that gives you a very nice sheen to it and a nice smooth finish. So you get the best of being, it's almost like a glossy, smooth finish, but it's not. It's quite flat, really.
That's what you said. I managed to do on my truck, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. It's
no clue. I've managed to do it.
It's very good. Yeah, but yeah, with yours as well. The thing is, when you're doing it, especially when you're dealing with armor, aircraft, you can do little tricks with it, but keeping it all the same all over, so it's generally all the same. Aircraft, you can play with it a little bit, give some shinier areas and flatter areas, and it breaks up the paintwork again. But that's just getting a bit complicated with finishes. But general, there is no rule of thumb. It's what looks good to you. But I would always say more on the side of satin to flat than satin, if you know what I mean, from that point of view. And again, don't forget, start at one end of the spectrum. So start with the satin, because you can always go flatter with no worries at all. But when you try and go flat to shiny again, then you have a little bit of, you can get build up on that. So if you're thinking you're not sure, I would start with the satin, have a look at it. If you're thinking, yeah, I think I want to knock it back a bit, trust your instinct. Okay, and then say, right, okay, well, look, we're just going to up the air pressure a bit further away with whatever you've just used to do your satin, and a light dusty coat. Don't keep pumping it on either. I think a lot of people make the mistake is that they'll come along, you have your model and they're quite close and they're putting it down and they're running over it and over it and over it. You sort of build it up and you get a thing. Come further away, dust it lightly on, give it a minute, cut to air, dry it down, see how you feel. Yeah, not bad. No, take it a little bit more, give it a little bit more, and just relax with your final coat. You know, because your final coat is obviously, that's it. So you want to take your time with it and make sure you're happy with it. So, but as you say, if you're never quite sure, I would always go to whatever you can fix. So obviously, if you're going to want a glossy look, go glossy, because you can always go satin. But if you've gone flat, to go glossy is going to take a lot of work. You know, and that way you can have a look. But say, trust your instincts. If you think, I don't know, then, you know, always sit on it as well. Give it a day, come back, have a look at it in a different light, see how you feel. Don't rush it. Don't rush through finals.
Yeah,
obviously, when you're at the last bit, it can all go. Yeah, that's it. You spent 6 months building it, and then you're like, oh no, I just wrecked it at the last minute.
Yeah, I must admit, I put mine on like a little that flat turntable I was saying about for the cake base.
Yeah.
And then I've got a piece of foam that I sit it onto, so I can get underneath it as well as having to then handle it at the same time. And like you, I spray reasonably high pressure, but from a distance.
Yeah.
I do it all the way around. I give it 5-10 minutes to dry a little bit, and then I'll come in with another one. Unless it's just purely to put the decals on to start with.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, the finish that's on there is quite nice. I'll probably flatten it a little bit more, but apart from that, it's fine for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're happy with it, then it doesn't matter, does it? You know, you are its critique.
Yeah.
You know, there's the bit where you're like, no, I think that's enough now. Is the bit you stop and you walk away from it and show your partner, and they say, that's nice.
Yeah, and so walks off.
Yeah, is that it? Do a great one.
She did say she liked the pebbles at the bottom of my river.
Oh, well, that's all right then. So not the rest of it. Yeah. The bridge work, all the models built. She likes the pebbles at the bottom. Brilliant.
Post 43, which is Brett. Hello, Brett here again. Since I can make it to Telford this year, will I be able to buy a calendar and a poster from the store?
Yes. Yes, I do believe so. As I say, it's a bit weird because the store I don't actually own anymore. So actually, it's nothing to do with me. They sort of have a space on the site because obviously with the name. But yeah, I'm sure we can work something out. We'll put it through a checkout and then they can do it that way.
Post 44, which is Dave. Gutted I'm not at Telford at those prices. Not to mention the freebies.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. I won't rub it in, but I'll be there.
Yeah, that's it.
Joshua, post 45, referring to the person about FX85. I got mine on Amazon. I had to wait a while for it to be shipped, though. So.
Yeah, as I say, a couple of companies, and I will find his address and I'll put it on the end of this tomorrow. But there's a guy I buy off, and I bought a few things now via eBay, and he is lightning fast. To be honest, all my Tamiya, because I buy it in packs of 8 of my Tamiya extra thin, my gun stuff come via him, all my Mr. Metal colour paints come via him. I get them in 4 to 5 days, and they come direct from Hong Kong. But he's not a shop; he's a private guy who's obviously doing it from his back room or whatever they have in Hong Kong. But yeah, he's really good.
So 1 room, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, normally paper. No, but the thing is, he is a very good guy, and he gets them out extremely quick. He does kits as well, but I've never bought a kit. But I've had all my sort of sundries and paints and that for him. And his postage is absolutely peanuts. It's something like I think he charges like £1.50 postage per order. But he's on eBay. I'll dig him out and put him up because I do recommend him because he's very good service. And I bought all my Mr. Surface for him the other week. I bought a box of Mr. Surfacer because it's cheaper as well. Yeah. So I bought a load of 1200 Mr. Surfacer.
I might take his name down off you as well.
Yeah, but I must admit, because I thought, getting low, I know a man who can get that. You know, and I bought a load of that off him. So
okay, so on the start of page 4 now, which is 46, which the first one is from Tav. Hello, Phil and Buddy. Would it be possible for you to build a Messerschmitt BF109G from Rebel series sometime in the future? Tav from Finland.
Yes. Yeah, I do want to do a 109. To be honest, it is on my. As I said, we speak about this mythical list that I have, but I genuinely do have one, and it is on there of kits I have to do because obviously I'm not starting a museum here, but I'm trying to sort of build for the cabinet, generate, sort of things. And the thing is, I've got a Mustang in there, and obviously the Spitfire in 30 seconds. Yeah, but I haven't got a 109. And I'd like to do, if I get hold of one, Hasegawa, I might have a look around Telford, but not that I have time.
You will, because we're going to make time for it.
Yeah, fair enough. I believe you want to see it. I'll send you round with a list, actually. But I would like to get the 109, which I'll probably do the Rebel one, so I reviewed it, and then I think gave it away as a prize.
Yeah, he said for the Rebel one.
Yeah, I do the Rebel one. I like to do the Hasegawa 190. So I built them years ago, did a couple of them, really liked them as well. Because obviously Revell did the D9 version as a Reebok, so it's the old Hasegawa one. But as I say, to go along with my Mustang and Spitfire. So yes, watching this space because it is on my list for my collection.
Lovely. Paul Selwood, post 47. Hello, Phil and Sid. What's the best option for Telford? Is it signing up to IPMS at 9 AM so I don't miss any bargains? Go in at 10 to see if there's any bargains left, or still go to Telford but concentrate on the stash I've got?
Don't panic too much about this mythical bargain thing the traders have. I think people really make. Don't forget, I go as a trader. I go there, so I see all these mythical bargains before you lot do, because we do a setup on a Friday. So we're there midday on Friday and set up throughout the afternoon on Friday. And don't forget, it's supposed to be no selling, but all the traders flock there anyway. And obviously all the IPMS people setting up as well. They're all buying at the same time as we're setting up. And I didn't think there was any bargains there last year. Don't think there's traders there saying 50% off everything, because you're not going to find it. Sometimes you can get a better bargain on a Sunday afternoon when the traders don't want to take the stock home. Yeah. Because guys in the team have come back and said, "Oh, I've just been over there and I offered him 40 quid for it and come away with our price model." Yeah. Purely because the traders are thinking, "Stuff it, can't be asked to take it home. I'll flog it." So don't think there's these mythical bargains that are all sat there, because don't forget the traders know you're all coming in and they're going to be quite happy to sit on it. Normally they'll drop the prices 3 o'clock on a Sunday for the last sort of hour of trade, just to get rid of stock.
I suppose as well, because they know that you're coming with a list, perhaps, and they know that you're after certain stuff. They're quite wise for that, I would have thought. And like you say, they will stick on a certain price for them until the very last minute.
Yeah, that's it. But don't forget, we get, to be honest, it's not annoying, but sometimes people are very cheeky, because they'll come over to us at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and say, "Oh, set of washes, I'll give you 20 quid for it." Yeah, well, not really funny. We take it home, it'll be flogged there anyway. So, to be honest, we do like to take stock home, because otherwise we're stuffed on Monday. So it doesn't affect us. But other traders, obviously, if they bought stock in and they need to turn it back into cash, then perhaps they do deals. But I don't think this mythical thing that you're thinking that people are going to come along and get massive deals. It used to be that sometimes you get brand new kit releases that obviously you knew they would be available at Telford, and sometimes they're quite hard to get. So that's it. But if you're a kit collector, especially, and you're looking out for older kits, stuff like that, then you want to get in there early. But don't think you're going to buy new stuff or get a compressor or an airbrush dirt cheap, because it's not actually going to work that way. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. The only thing is, if you do join, obviously, IPMS and sign up and all the rest of it, that is the cost of your admission for 2 days. So, if you can get in there an hour early, it's not going to cost you more, unless they put the price up. I don't know what it is this year, because as I say, we go in under trade. But that's what I know a lot of guys do. They sign up, they get in there an hour earlier, and as I say, it's the price of the admission anyway. And then obviously any other model shows in your local area, you'll get in for discounted price anyway. So.
Okay. Another question earlier was you was answering a question about your next armor build. Could you do a military truck from Mini Art, Trumpeter or AVF Club, as they're a bit more of a challenge? Not saying that Tamiya are bad, just not as detailed.
No, that's right. Yeah, true.
And Tamiya stuff goes well together.
Who's Wrecker? Was that your Wrecker? Who bought me the Wrecker to review? You remember that?
Oh,
Recovery truck?
that was Shannon.
Shannon. Yeah.
Shannon. Yeah, Shannon's got that.
Good luck.
Yeah. If it's the one I think it is, he wants to do. He wants to try chipping effects and everything, and rust and all that all over it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was Shannon's one. I was actually
that was. Yeah. Yes. In a nutshell, as I said, it's keep the ideas coming and all the rest of it. I will start a thread. As I said, next week now, because we're going to be flat out for the next couple of days. I'm going to stop all of this and concentrate on obviously Telford. But next week I will post a thread up, and then what we'll do is you throw your ideas all in the hat, like the ones you like the idea of, and then the ones who have got the most likes, I'll put into a poll and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So I think that's the easiest way. But definitely, they're all little things I'd like to do. To be honest, I'd love to do some of those Russian trucks, you know, their utility vehicles and stuff like that, because they look brilliant.
Well, just grab one of you can have that now. I felt guilty taking that one.
No, you're right with that one. You've got to build it though.
I will.
That's part of the deal.
Post 48, I think it's Mustafa. Hi, this is Mustafa from Abu Dhabi. I am just about getting ready to paint the Airfix 72nd scale Lancaster. Yeah, Lancaster. What black should I use? I have Tamiya rubber, NATO, and Alcan, Ode and new rubber in my stash. I'm also thinking of rubbing selected panels with metallic pigments. Any advice?
Yeah, you've all got good colours for it. The NATO black is a great one for using it on that type of thing. What you could do, especially, is use things like, as I say, this Tamiya rubber black may be a little bit too bluey for that type of effect, but what you could do is do certain panels with it to break it up, or not panels, but you know how we do normal weathering on military stuff, we do that sort of thing about bleaching at centers of panels. You could use another one of those black rubber shades. In fact, use them all and break it up, because the trouble is they do look very black underneath. There's not a lot going on. So obviously you can put certain stains and, you know, white bits in there and things like that, but you could go around. But yeah, you can do metallic-y bits, but I wouldn't go everywhere with it, because it's going to look like, you know, silver overspray's got at it. But picking out selective areas with it will work very well as well. But certainly, you know, start off with, if I was doing it, I'd probably go along with the NATO black, lighten it slightly with a bit of grey. So we'd say cut it, if you're using Tamiya, cut it with a little bit of XF53, I think it is, or 54, one of the darker greys they do there. Just literally a little bit in there to lighten it up, go through it all, right the way over everything, and then go back, and you can darken up some of the panel lines there, and it will leave you with a lighter centre. So you sort of post shading, very similar to what we did to the Tornado. So you know, there's no point pre-shading it, you're never going to see it. Okay, and then you go around, but then you can use things like the rubber colours we're saying, just to go around and do some little swirls and little bits, and filtering over the top, i.e. very thin light coats over it, just to knock it around, and that will give you a very nice effect underneath there. But yeah, by changing your shades, because you've got a nice selection of blacks, just go through them all. Yeah, you might find one looks a little bit better, then you can overcoat some of the other areas you did just to draw them in and everything else. But it's nice to have a selection of blacks like that you can, you know, have a play with. The other thing as well, get a bit of plastic art or something and have a test just to see how they look. Yeah, but you know, start it a little bit lighter, cut it with a little bit of the dark grey into there to lighten up that initial black colour. Because don't forget, you can always darken down, but to lighten up is a bit of a pain. You're fighting against it, but you can always go darker, and then don't forget your filtering. I thin it so it's almost like dirty thin, as we said, and then blow coats over it just to knock it into your how you would like it to be.
Eric has commented on the Lotus question that we had earlier. Use the zero paints Lotus black. It dries into a matte finish, and you have to clear coat with 02 pack clear. You should get a real good finish after polishing. The black JPS Lotus were shiny, and a lot of attention was paid to the bodywork.
Yeah, that's right. Because to be honest, I'm planning on using maybe, normally I use like an automotive lacquer on this. I might be going for a 2-pack finish on this as well, to give it a real deep luster, because obviously I want to do like a pearlescent paint on it. So yeah, that's the plan with this one. So similar to the ones, very shiny.
Post 50, Mustafa. Another question on the Lancaster: what will be the best way to get the white, light grey exhaust effect?
I think it definitely on a new show. Hello, it was a cat.
Cat's awake.
All right. Can say hello to everyone. No. Yeah. The thing is, I think it was the lead. Am I right in thinking? Do you know about this history of the white strikes on anger?
No,
something to do with the fuel back then. I'm sure it had more lead in it or something. That's what that white is that comes off of them, and not like black sooting. It's because of the fuel that was used. I'm sure one of the guys in the forum will know this better than I do, but it was something to do with whatever was in the fuel. It used to literally, stain up quite heavily. That's why you get that white looking to it. I've done a video on it. It's on one of the news shows or something else like that. If you do a search in the Flooring Models main site, click on the search and put exhaust stains in there. I'm sure it's on there, or it might be in the helpful tips area, but I did it on Buster, if you remember, and I showed about doing staining.
You did?
That was part of the one. So basically the way I do it is start with a dark one first, so you've got the dark edges to it. Then lighten up the paint as you come into the middle. So literally you come in until you've almost got like a white paint, for the want of a better word, but it's quite thin, so it bleaches into each other as each coat's going in, but doing the same thing. So if this is your wing, this is your airbrush, you're sort of doing that thing of flicking it, and then once you've got it going, you can actually drag it back down the wing. Okay, and do it that way. Just remember, the far outer engines on the outside, the staining goes under the wing and not over it. Don't shout at me, the door's open. Yeah, it's very good.
I'll get my claws out for you.
Yeah, she is actually. You've got young now. Go find a biscuit or something.
Post 51, Stephen Gibbs. Hello, Stephen. You've only posted 8 times, so welcome.
Will you get off?
Enjoying the show. You have bumped Radio 3 as my usual background, working on mains. Got on the table and played his card.
No, she's not allowed that.
Working on the mains, and it's a foreign word.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, Sid, I cannot pronounce it either. It's an IDF heavy APC. Just masking up, ready to try anti-skid. Hope to post up some photos soon. That's from Steve.
That anti-skid stuff we'll have to look more into, because as say, do you mind? But yeah,
Steve found that
new one, didn't he? He had a bit to play with when we spoke to him afterwards as a show as well.
Yeah, just speak to that show as well.
Yeah.
See what it was like afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Post 52, which is Robert. Evening all, I've just finished doing a F-19. Was a concept aircraft that was never once past mock-up. I put the decals on and took a chance on them being owed. They seemed to go down okay. I used microset and sew, but now they have dried. They have gone silver in places. Is there anything I can do to make them look better? As did want to take it to Telford.
It depends on
why I've broken it.
No, it's all right. Go with together.
I've got some glue.
So I've got some tools here.
DIY job.
Yeah.
There's a silver on his
deck. Yeah, silver on your decals.
After he's using the local set and so.
I say it does depend on the reason why it's done it. If it is just generally a really old decal, then the trouble is that you're gonna. Sorry, put me properly together.
I got a pin one, so I can use that. Same person.
Here we go. Flip it back. Here we go.
That's your teeth.
That's it. Kick it out. Can't. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, the trouble is, if it's the decal is physically really old and gone like a milky colour, it can give you that effect of being The decal is silvered, but actually it's the decal itself. Yeah, careful, it's lethal claws, that thing. So that can be, you know, a real pain. The only thing I would suggest doing is say it's concept aircraft, rip them off, use the old tape trick, you know, heavy duty tape over the top, pull them off, it'll take the decal with it. Like brown packaging tape. Yeah, brown packaging tape. It won't take your paint, hopefully, fingers crossed, don't blame me if it does. But yeah, rub that onto your decal, then you can literally tear it off and take your decal clean off.
Okay.
Then find from your spares box or something else like that and redo it. Because as I said, if it's silvering, then that's a different matter. So if you're looking at the decal and it's got no yellowiness to it, and it's just pure white, then obviously we've covered it a little bit before.
Yeah, just says there that they've dried.
Yeah.
And after they've dried, they've gone silver.
Yeah.
In places.
Well, that's when I would say come out with your knife, very sharp blade. Once it's dry, never do it wet. Yeah. Score it all over, and then don't rub at it in case you peel it off. But then literally give it a pass over of an acrylic thinner. So you could use Tamiya X20A if you've got it. Works really, really well, and you can do it that way. See if it'll draw in. Obviously, microset and soles again. You can give them another go at. Failing all the rest of it, you can use what everyone terms of the technique of actually using extra thin glue. But remember, don't brush it, touch it, capillary action, let it zip off, and that's it. Because if you brush it, it will melt and drag the decal and you've lost it. It literally is a case of touching it, letting the capillary action go off, because it will melt your decal clean on. But as I say, if you try and brush it on, it will just melt your decal and make a mess.
Okie dokie. As he said, obviously you want to bring it to Telford. So post 53, which is
there's always a thing that they always said that the X19 was actually used by the CIA.
Oh, was it?
Well, it depends if it's the old rumour mill, because it was the predecessor to the F-117, and it's supposed to be a stealth concept for the proof of stealth, like Have Blue. Sorry, Have Quick. Yeah, is it Have Blue? Have Blue, yeah, the first one. And then the rumour mill said that actually the F-19 was used by the CIA as a reconnaissance aircraft fighter. So who knows?
Dave, post 53. Phil, when you put the new builds up and you list the kits, any aftermarket parts and paints used, could you put the numbers of the paints on the listing to help us get the correct paint into the build along with the build?
You could do, but I tend to use hundreds. I used to, back in the day, I used to do a list of everything that I've used, but it got a little bit ridiculous.
So obviously when I'm actually making my models, again, because of my eyesight as well, I actually write on the instructions what paints I've used for what and where. So that if I want to, if I'm building something else and I look at a previous model, I think, oh, actually that effect would look quite good on this. I'll go to those instructions, open them up, and I can see what paint I used. But I mean, it's with you. I suppose it's with the time constraint, isn't it? I suppose at least with you, you mention it when you're building it.
Yeah, that's it. The thing is, I do have to mention right here is that the main one, apart from the audio's tough on me, which is like, but the main build is going to be different to anything you've seen before, purely because I now show the instructions as I'm building it. So what you're going to get is I've taken still photos of all the instructions from the kits now, because before I used to go along and I'd show you, because obviously the overhead, and I go to, oh, and this is what we're using here. Well, instead of me having to do this all the time, what I've done is I photographed the manual completely first. And then literally, when I'm talking to you and I'm talking about a part, I've got it as an insert.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I've got the instructions, so they're nice and clear and big, so you can see them on the screen. So they're there, as you can see it. And it's a little thing I've been playing with, an idea, and this is the first time I've done it. That's why I mentioned, I think, in that other one, I've got some new ways of doing it. And then, as I say, the color call-outs, I might put them up on the screen as well. It's just that from an editing point of view, and a half-hour show still takes an hour and a half to do. So now doing this is probably going to add another 15 minutes. So if I start doing all of that, it's going to turn into sort of, you know, I'm going to be editing more than I'm sat here. But the thing is, because I've got more time, I'm trying to make the editing a little bit more better. You know, hence now we're running 4
definitely,
cameras full time, 5th on a backup to show you all the better angles. But one of these things is something I've wanted to do a while, because you might have noticed recent builds I do a lot of this now, and I talk about exactly the bits we're going. But I thought it's easier to have it so you guys can perhaps spot it, that I'll have it up in, which is, as you look at it, it's your top left bit of the screen, so you can actually see it. So from this point of view, it's over here, and it has it as a still image, so you can, like, you know, perhaps peruse over it, look at it, and all the rest of it, and things like that.
And
so,
I suppose again with you as well, as you're going along and you may be painting, you may jump from using one paint that you've mentioned to start
to
with
another,
to another one while you actually build it, you know, doing that bit. So,
it is difficult, because a lot of people have asked about you know, listing the tools I've used and everything else for each build, but as I say, it turns into a massive thing then. And to be honest, I did used to do it years ago when I didn't have much. You know, when I had Tamiya paints was the only one, I would say, oh, and in this build, and we've used blah blah blah, and I'd have it at the beginning. But then that got out of hand, so it quickly got moved off, and I didn't do it on the sort of builds from it, purely because it is that thing, the amount of paint used. It's easier for me to describe it as I go rather than not. But as I said, it is something perhaps I can look out for my primary colours. So I'll be able, if I'm building an aircraft, perhaps I'll say like the overall colours are, because most of this stuff down here, it tends to be more of what I'm grabbing to use. It's a bit like the engine block. Originally, I was going to do it in the Tamiya X19, which, to be honest, I haven't used in probably God knows how many years. But I've sort of got it out. I've used it on the exhaust on this. It looks quite nice. I thought about doing the block. Changed my mind now. So I'm going to go, you know, probably use the buffer balls, and I'm going to brush it in to give it that nice sort of deep metal look to it and all the rest of it. So I say, it's just that little thing of seeing what works best and everything else. And obviously, because you're watching these almost live, you're normally only a week behind where I am. That list could change as well. So that's the trouble with it. Unless I ever get that far ahead, so I've got completed builds done before you guys start them. But I can't imagine that ever happening.
Post 54, which is Robert, for Model Master Paints, etc. UK supply is Affinity Models. They will be at Telford in Hall 3, and usually brings them. Yeah, definitely Affinity.
Affinity Models. Oh, right, I didn't know that. And they're the official importer, are they?
Well, it says
perhaps they have, because
they're the UK supplier.
Oh, right. It depends if they're a supplier and importer, because they might just be a stockist of. The only trouble with those is when they go out of stock, you've got to wait 6 months before they get them in again. It tends to be, and that was always, to be honest, Creative's problem. It took a long time when they used to sell out to get the next load in. So it used to be a bit of a thing. But what we need is a genuine distributor, because he has to then bring in, I know because I've looked into doing other manufacturers, but I have to buy, you know, 10 grand's worth of paint. And sitting on, as we said, 10 grand's of hot pink. That is not what I wanted to do, so that's why I didn't bother with that idea a few years ago.
Post 55, which is Mark. Good evening, Phil and Sid. Watching the show again tonight. Great as normal. No questions, just best wishes for Telford. Safe journey for all those going, and have a great time. Thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah, we will do.
We will indeed. David, post 56, evening chapter. Question for you, if I may. Is there this is a second post, so David.
Yeah.
Is there a technique for cementing painted parts? I often spend a large amount of time painting fine detail in a cockpit or wheel well, for example, only for the paint finish to be damaged when the parts join. Is there a way of preventing this happening? Please. See you at Telford.
Well, good job.
I use your, I use the Tamiya thin, Tamiya thin, and I normally just dab it on, and it doesn't seem to normally
that's right.
spoil the paint. It's only if you actually brush it on.
Yeah.
If you dab it on, then it doesn't normally damage the paint.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you use it like a capillary action, i.e. dabbing technique, then you shouldn't have any problem. It will wrinkle up and looks horrible, but does dry back fine. And to be honest, it's what I tend to use for, like when we did the pylons on the Tornado, things like that. I tend to use super glue to spot weld, as I call it, or tack temporarily in place. So it's just got a small amount. it grabs, it holds it, no problem at all. And then literally using capillary action, I'll come along with a Tamiya brush and just touch it in the join, and you'll see it zip off, and then just leave it. And then that way you won't get it. The trouble is you have, with obviously because it's hot action glues, it melts the paint, it melts obviously the plastic together. So if you're wiggling it around to get it in there, it is going to destroy all your detail and you're going to have loads of problems with it. But if you use a little bit of super glue, tack it into position, holds it, then you can use your extra thin to go around and put it in afterwards. If you've got a normal glue, perhaps you're using more of the normal cement ones, the thicker ones. Thought the brush had melted off then, so I couldn't see it in there. It's like I can see the stalk, but I can't see the end of it. But yeah, if you're using a normal one and it's thick, obviously you're not going to get that capillary action to run round. So then, obviously, the only way you can do it is to literally brush it onto the part and then place. And again, by not wiggling it, you won't have a problem. But if you're using a thin glue, so not necessarily, you know, Tamiya Extra Thin or Mr. Cement, but if you've got any of the sort of the neck welds and stuff like that,
I checked mine yesterday,
and it's like I'm almost gone.
No,
like an egg timer.
I've still got at least three quarters in mine.
Have you used that quarter though?
Nope.
No. See, my defensiveness.
So it's slowly going.
It is going. It's like an egg timer. When you run out, you die. You know. Christ, I've only got a little bit left. I reckon that must be like 3 weeks worth.
I got 3 bottles of it, and I don't know why, but I checked it yesterday. I was doing something. Oh, I've got my list of Telford. I looked at it. I thought, yeah, that one's going. Yeah. So yes,
I think they've got a little hole in the cap. It's how they like sell extra. So yeah, if you're using a thicker one, you know, you just say brush it on obviously one part of it. Don't do both parts, and then literally just then come together. But the usual thing, less is best as well. You don't want to go over it. If you can, obviously get yourself a thin glue. So as I said, if you haven't got the Tamiya one, you know, you can pick up the sort of the neck welds and stuff like that.
They are good.
They are. There's nothing wrong with those. It's just they stink and evaporate.
They are quite strong.
And evaporate.
Yeah. Post 57, which is Ari. Hi guys. What do you think about using model database when modeling stash go bigger and bigger and contains model, decals, accessory paints, and books? I have considered buying the Susi Soft kit base. Models are intended to be built, but yeah, models are intended to be built. I must admit, I've got it.
Have you?
Yeah, I filled it out when I got it.
Yeah,
I've trusted since. So I've started kits, I've finished kits, and I've not updated the actual database.
I think it depends if you're a big stash person, isn't it?
If you've got
a huge stash and you can't remember what you've got, then yeah, you're going to need something. Because I know guys who've gone out and bought a kit and realised when they got it. Yeah. I'm not into that because, as I say, mine's relatively a small stash by the great scheme of things.
If you got your stash over sort of dotted in different areas,
and it's up in
then
the
obviously in the database you can put on there, oh, it's in such and such place.
Yeah.
So it is good for that, but I don't know. I thought it was good. But I must admit, I just haven't kept it up to date.
No, I must admit, as I say, I know a lot of guys, and obviously they've got in their loft and that, and they've bought it again and again, and they bought resin sets for it twice, because then you can understand the point of view. For my personal one, I know what's in my stash because I'm looking at it every day.
Definitely,
so I'm very lucky like that. And like my aftermarket, I've got in boxes, to be honest, is behind there of all my bits and pieces, and I know what I've got and what I need and the various things to it. So it doesn't really affect me on a day-to-day business. But I do know people who've gone, oh, I've just got such and such, and then I get a phone call or a message, bloody hell, I've got home and I've already got it. And it's like, what, you didn't know? Is your stash that big? You know? But yeah, it's as you say, horses for courses. Definitely, if you're a kit collector, and as I say, you've got it spread out and things like that, then yeah, definitely. If you can keep a little bit on top of it, you know, fair enough. Yeah, if you need a database, I think you might need help more than, you know, if you're into that stage, you can build quicker or buy less. Yeah, definitely. One or the other got to give there, isn't it?
Post 58, this is Andreas. Hi, Phil and Sid, loving the show again. Phil, you mentioned using a high pressure for spraying the Valero polyurethane matte varnish neat. Could you please give a more specific hair pressure?
Airbrushing. I'll have to check because, as you all know, I don't even look at my airbrushes. Just clean the toilet or something. That's worrying. Right.
Timber.
Today's airbrusher. Oh, that one's turned off.
Oh no.
What's that in Earth pounds?
Dum 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 dum.
That is. I can't even read it. Hold on.
Hang on, he's disappearing into a cave.
I'm gonna have to actually because I can't see.
All his business now. He's actually got off the chair.
Is it getting in here and work?
Right, what can I pinch while you're in your cupboard?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a nice little cupboard here actually.
You know what? I can't read that. Oh, my eyesight's going. What's bad light?
Do you want a torch?
I'm going with the latter. Yeah, where's my phone? Hold on.
I keep prepared.
Oh, look.
So he's having work done on his front of his house. He hasn't got to the outside light done yet. So every time I walk down his front steps, I end up falling most of the time.
Yeah.
Or missing the steps.
Yeah. Right.
So I've got my
Okay.
own torch.
Well, the good news is apparently that's 50 psi,
Is it?
which I never realised it was that high. Just turn that up.
I didn't realise I could get that high.
Oh well. Who knew? Yeah.
So it is high.
And if you come in here, bring your own torch. Yeah. The thing is,
Precious.
oh, it's Aldi all over again.
Simple for Halloween.
That's it. Yeah. Realistically, though, obviously this is running multiple airbrushes and things like that, so it's probably down to around about 30 psi. You're going to need more than 27. I know it sounds an odd number, but I have this thing in my head: 24 and 27 psi. My working psi for spraying day to day is around about 27 psi, 24 to 25 psi, because it says 27 and always drops back under load. So yeah, that's roughly what it's doing. Around about 27 psi. Neat. Give it a good shake. Let it stand for 10 minutes. Drop in there, and away you go.
Okie dokie. You're going to need to do your fandangled pictures thing.
Oh right, sorry. What were you on?
We're on post 59, which is page 4, I believe.
59 page 4.
This is
Cue
from
them up first, then I'll take him to it.
David Smith. Hi, Phil and Sid. Another Tuesday, and I'm called out sick at work. Wonder if the boss will ever catch on. A quick question about to start weathering my Sherman Mark 51 or M51. Should I do my chipping before or after the washes are applied? Thanks for the info. Great show. Keep it up. Cheers, Dave. Now, I must admit, I've always done my chipping first.
Yeah, I would do chipping first. Yeah, if it was me, I do the chipping first, because then the wash works with the chipping.
Yeah.
That's the way I would go with it. Otherwise, if you chip afterwards, your chipping is going to be very clean. Yeah, that's how I would.
Yeah, I would have thought you do your chipping first.
Yeah.
I've just spotted his computer in the back, his monitor.
Yeah, look,
with your
with us
tank.
on. Yeah, look, so that's us, what they see over. Oh, well, that's all right.
That's it. It's good quality, that is.
It does actually, because I'm a bit worried because it's not saying we're in HD tonight, where normally it tells us in the corner. No, very nice. As you say, I would chip that before washing and anything else, because it will give it a more weathered in look and everything else like that. But generally, day to day, you know, nice job on that. See, I'm doing a Sherman suit.
Yeah, I must admit, yeah. I done my I can never get it pronounced it right, but I done one, and it was for the what group build was it last that you done? Last group build. Korean.
Yes.
I've done one for the Korean Persian tank. That was quite nice. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
That was good fun.
Yeah, some nice ones there. Tamia do a nice one, and obviously Hobby Boss do
Mum was
one.
Hobby Boss one.
Yeah. Very nice, yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that looks nice shipment. That was.
Both actually.
Post 60, which is Lawrence. Second post. Hi Lawrence. Hi guys. Best wishes from Netherlands. Any chance we'll see some 112 F1 models in the future?
Yes, yeah, we spoke about this in a couple of new shows ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
I intend to do some bikes, F1 stuff in the bigger scales. Purely because I'm a bit of a petrol head and like that type of stuff.
So we're just going on to page 5. I don't know how far on to page 5 we're going down, but we'll have a look. Ian Smith, hello again, lads, gents, men. A quick question: why is it that the new modelling sites that are popping up seem to think they have to copy you? They make their paint racks like yours, and their new shows seem to be yours only a few days later.
Yeah, I know. It makes you wonder, doesn't
I
it?
want to be like you, to walk like you, talk like you.
Funny enough, a couple of people said to me about a certain other show the other day, and as they pointed out, if I ever miss this one, I can just go and watch this because they know it'll be a direct copy.
Do you know what? To be honest, I don't watch anybody, and I'm not saying this because obviously I know you and you're obviously a friend, but I genuinely don't watch anybody else,
No.
so I just don't feel the need to.
No, I think a lot of it is that, don't forget, I've been doing this the longest.
Well,
as far as I'm aware, I'm the oldest, not by age, well, probably that as well, but the longest running. You know, we've been doing this 10 years now. And don't forget, most people who have gone off now have been members here, and they've gone off and set up on their own. So I always take it as flattery. To be honest, it doesn't bug me. It doesn't annoy me. If they want to go into it, then fair enough. You know, as we said, it's not me that makes the sites the members.
Definitely.
So it's, you know, I just sort of sit here at the helm and try and guide everybody.
Indeed.
And as long as I enjoy it, I'll still do it. You know,
and you always get the good feedback as we have. So
yeah, I know.
And it's not the fact that you're, and I don't please take this the wrong way, it's not the fact that you're taking the money and keeping it for yourself. It's the fact that you then reimbursing it into your business, and you're improving it for the people that watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which obviously everybody appreciates.
Well, it is. It even goes down to moving to this house.
Yeah.
You know, we could have always stayed in the old house, but the whole reason for moving to this house, which was a massive gamble, was because we could have a studio this big.
Yeah.
You know, quite frankly, the other house was fine. It was, you know, no problem at all. But it was a case of we needed somewhere where I could have a studio and get people in and do bigger projects and do everything else. So it's a case of, right, we'll move out of a 9x8 back room, and technically this would be the lounge of the house. So I get it.
It just means that Mel has to buy some more bleach.
Well, this is it. OCD cleaners.
Indeed.
So yeah. But no, I've always said that, you know, at the end of the day, I try and keep this as cutting edge as possible. So yeah, for instance, it's like the paint rack. I stuck the paint rack up. Everyone sticks the paint rack up.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, the LED lighting. You wait, everyone will have LED lighting next. You know, next thing you know, it'll be the cameras. They want to start going better cameras. And you know, I try.
I won't be.
Well, yeah, right. Perhaps they won't be doing that particular camera, but generally, you know, whatever we do, you know, you wait. There'll be live shows cropping up all over the place as the next thing, because it does tend to be, it works. It's something that's good, and then everybody else thinks, well, look, if it's working there, then they'll give it a whirl. And I always see it as quite a bit of flattery, really. If I'm honest, the bit where people, you know, either directly copy word for word, which some of them obviously do, and or the ones who you can see they've taken an idea from us and developed it and all the rest of it, I do take it purely as a bit of flattery. You know, I must admit, I don't watch them because I don't freaking have time, but I get the feedback from a lot of people, and I just take it, well, look, you know, I'm
obviously doing something right. If somebody wants
to
copy
say it's you know, the best form of, you know, flattery you can have, and I definitely do take it that way. So, but as I say, it's never me. As I'm great, and I don't just say it. It's not me. It's the members.
Yeah.
You know, as you say, we've been doing this for the last 10 years. You know, we've got, you know, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but it is actually official now. We have got the largest collection of online material, video material in the world. You know, as I said, we're very close to our 3 millionth viewer on Facebook alone, which isn't bad when you're thinking we've only been on YouTube now for about a year, because all the rest of it was on our own server.
Yeah.
We've only switched over here, so from our point of view, I think that's pretty good going.
They want to see your jumpers, that's what it is. They've heard the rumours about your jumpers.
The old ones. But somebody asked me the other day and said, if I'm not going to use any more, can I put them up on YouTube and the free to watch bit and all the rest of it? And I was like, oh no, I can only keep that for the members.
Definitely.
I can keep that private.
Post 62, which is Paul Selwood. Yes, Phil, build the wrecker. That's a real challenge.
Yeah, no, I'll leave that to Shannon. We'll get Shannon on the show one day.
Definitely.
We'll get him up here and he can show us how he's getting on with it.
And his transporter.
His transporter, yeah, resi transporter.
I can help guide you through the pitfalls through the webcam.
Yeah. Do a video build on it. I can then put it on the site. Help yourself.
I don't know how to pronounce your name. Ludwig. How do you feel when we build a Swedish aircraft? Will you buy or video review Tarangus?
Tarangus, yeah.
48th JAAJ 37
Yeah.
vegan.
Yeah, I'm doing the vegan.
Vegan.
The new one that's just been released. So
Right.
I'm going to get that kit in. Again, it's on my hit list as soon as I can find it somewhere. It's literally only just come out.
Right, okay.
But I am a massive fan because there's no way I was ever going to do the old Iska, you know, which is I think a Reebok's way on Airfix. Helen did a go at it and the rest of it because that thing's truly awful. But as I say, now there's a nice new tooled one. I intend to give that definitely a whirl.
Good. Paul Selwood's put feels the best. Feels the best. He's the daddy of them all.
That's it. See, now I'm just feeling old.
Owen, which is the last comment, so we're up to date now. About other sites, the only other news show I watch, how is Bobby Waldron's, as he comes across as being a nice guy, and it's a laugh. How pronounced everything wrong. But the other two guys broke away from here are two Muppets. Yeah, I'm not reading that last bit.
Yeah, no, don't get us into trouble. Censor that one. No. Don't forget Bobby Waldron. I know Bobby. Me and Bobby do speak. Everyone thinks like we're all mass enemies at all of this. But actually, me and Bobby do speak a bit. And I was speaking to him before he's moved. He's building his new studio. He's having a proper studio now and all the rest of it, which I know he's wanted to do for ages. Get out of his attic. And
that was the one that you said making up his own.
Yeah, he makes up his own wash thinners. Yeah, because one of the guys put it up on the thing again.
Yeah.
Which I say it keeps coming round. It's on our place about 20 times now. But yeah, Bobby did a thing on making up his own version of I think it's UPM's thinners or UPM stole his thinners or one or the other. But anyway, that's up there. You can have a look at that. It's on the forum at the moment. But yeah, no, me and Bobby speak. And Bobby used to be a member. He was a member for a long time actually. And then he went off and set himself up. But I don't see it as a. Everyone was at the time was like, oh, he's set himself up. He's done. He's copied you. It's an identical site. And you know, if you want to go there, off you go.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't.
You don't have to stay if you don't want.
That's it. You know, that's it. Nobody's under contract here. If you want to go over to Bobby's site, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to do both our sites and all the rest of it. Because me and Bobby did speak a couple of months ago about it, and we were saying about not treading on each other's toes, not from a business point of view, but purely because obviously we have similar members. A lot of our members are on both sites.
Yeah.
So I simply said to Bobby, let us know what you're going to build, and I'll avoid it because there's no point in building the same thing. You know, so I gave him my list of projects I'm going to be doing. He gave me his, and that way we just steer clear of whatever we're doing. Not from a point of view of like, you know, because we hate each other and all the rest of it. It's purely from a professional thing. And so you guys aren't watching the same thing on two sites, especially if you subscribe to him and to me. You know, then obviously it's not going to affect, even though we are cheaper. We haven't had a price rise on this site for 7 years.
And you got a new camera.
And we got a new camera. That's it. You realise we've been £2.99 now for 7 years. We used to be £2.50 in the early day, but then PayPal back then used to take 60p. So I put the price up to cover that. So I didn't realise at the time we first started. But no, we've never had a price rise.
And that is us up to date with all the comments.
And then dead on 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
So somebody the other day said to me, why do you say
9 o'clock?
From 7 till 9? I say, because the questions stop about 9. It gives an hour to catch up.
It does.
Because otherwise, if we said till we're going to go on now and we're going to do 7 till 10, we'll be here at 11. And then we'll be here at 12. And then we'll be here for the Americans when they finish work. And then the Australians coming home from work. And we'll still be here, you know. Your next post number 4,380. What do you want for Christmas?
No. Well, I hope you enjoyed your Christmas meal.
Yeah, Christmas meal, yes. Yes.
No. That'll all start soon, won't it?
Yes. Christmas.
Going out for your Christmas parties and
Yes.
booking up and doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that'll be it. God. I must admit, it's one of those things we tend to, from our point of view, obviously we live for Telford. You get past the summer and then obviously we prepare and everything for Telford as we're going. And then literally as soon as Telford's out of the way, we call Christmas. because it literally is then, you know, you've got a month till Christmas, so it's like, cool, you know, horrendous. So never mind. All good.
Indeed.
All good fun. Well, there we go. Thank you for joining us again tonight.
Indeed.
As I said, that's it from the building point. From my point of view, you'll get the next part of the main video, which I apologize now for the audio because it's not going to be good unless I can find out why or where it is in a file on my camera. But generally, the new camera didn't do the audio, so I've got the backup from the 3 above me. I'm hoping through them I might be able to try to sort something out. So you might hear half decent, but at least the image will be good. Nice and clear view. It's just the sound isn't going to work.
Just probably had a watch Eaglet.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, try and get the lip sync between them all going. That's always a good one. So that'll be the first part of the main one, which I said a little bit different. Let me know how you feel about it. As I said, what it basically entails is now you're going to have a still thing up on this side, and it will show you the instructions for whilst I'm talking about it. So when I'm talking about different bits, it will be there, then it'll cut away, and then the next bit. So you can see detailed also. As I say, I photographed the manual all the way through. So hopefully, you know, just say, let me know how you feel about it, and we'll go from there. And then on Thursday, you've got the next part of the tank going up, the Mark IV British tank, which gets you up to date, I think, then. Friday, obviously, we're not here. Friday morning, we're setting off here. 9:30 apparently, I'm told. 10 apparently.
Okay.
Well, we've got to meet the others at Taunton.
Okay.
Get the rest of the stock at Taunton. And then going up from there. And then, so obviously we'll be up. The idea is as well that myself and Mel are going to be doing a Facebook update thing throughout the day. So if you're not on the Flooring Models, well, Pro Modelers / Facebook page, get yourself on that, because we're going to put photos and videos and various bits and pieces throughout the entire weekend.
I can take my iPad as well now.
So you can take the iPad, so you can post some stuff up. So that's all going to be directly, because obviously when we're in there, we can't post up to the site and the various things because it's too complicated. But Facebook, we can just do that on a phone, post it up, and away we go. So if you want to see what we're up to with videos, little clip videos and photos. So
trust me, I'll capture mate is worst.
Yeah, well, yeah, apart from those, bang all the cameras after 9 o'clock every evening, and everything else. So if you want to keep up with us and obviously all the Telford stuff, obviously Telford takes it completely out of me, so I intend to have Monday off, because quite frankly, all we do is chuck all the stock in here, because we don't get back till gone midnight. I think that's out. So we're going to chuck all the stock in here and go to bed. So Monday, it's a case of putting it all back everywhere and sorting everything out, and then I'll get back on it like Sonic on Tuesday, and then we're back to normal. So you around Tuesday night next week? Yeah. You'll probably be dead by then. You'll be absolutely knackered out. But yeah, if we're all still awake, we can do one like this.
Yeah, can do, yeah.
And then what we'll do is obviously get things back on track. Hopefully I'll put together a good news show. We'll obviously will be a Telford update on Friday, and everything else like that. So that's it.
Splendid.
Splendid day. So until obviously with the video builds and the bits and pieces, but until next Tuesday, thanks for watching. And we'll see you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.